Good morning, campers. How
Good
you guys
afternoon.
doing?
Good evening, sorry. Good
Yeah, go.
evening.
No,
Hello.
Evie is good morning.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm good
good morning.
evening.
I'm good afternoon.
Yes.
Greetings to all of you Tauri Earthlings and happy 25th birthday to Stargate SG-1. My name is David Reed.
My name is Nicole Rodriguez Galdo.
And I'm Yvie Cahill.
And we are the Wormhole Extremists. For this episode, we are going to be rewatching together the original Showtime cut and as far as I'm aware, the original DVD cut of Children of the Gods. It is 1 hour and 37 minutes long, and that includes credits. And that is going to be our show. So we are really excited to be bringing this to you. Our normal shows are going to start in the fall, but we were all like, it's SG-1's 25th anniversary. Let's go ahead and start it together.
Don't miss it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Happy birthday.
Our show is brought to you by Gatecon. So Gatecon is going to be a convention, a Stargate convention that is going to be in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada, this September 1st through the 5th. You can get all the information on them at gatecon.com. They are just now announcing they have released day passes, individual day passes to the celebration at $100 US each, and are also announcing a live streaming ticket for those who are unable to attend. So much like our show, they're going to be having a live streaming feature. Currently, over 50 guests have agreed to appear, so this is a pretty impressive list. And the full schedule has also been released as well. Now, the thing about Gatecon, the schedule tends to change, so don't consider it ironclad. But this is where we are starting off with. So, and the three of us will be at Gatecon as well.
Woo!
Indeed, we will. We're very excited. We're about as
Absolutely.
excited as Sam Carter in a room full of doohickeys.
I liked that. I liked that. That was good.
And by doohickey, she means technology.
Yeah, that does. I was like, do Americans understand that thing that
A
Americans
doohickey,
use?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, exactly.
good.
Absolutely.
That's what O'Neill says. He calls them doohickeys.
Yeah, but O'Neill brings out stuff all the time that's not considered traditional.
That's
so.
right. A couple other
I'm
points
not
I want to
traditional.
hit before we get going here. 1 hour from now, the tweet storm, hashtag we want Stargate at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's 1 hour from now. So if you're watching live, we're also going to try to bring it up in the middle of the show at the 1 hour mark.
9 p.m. UK time.
Yes. So we're all.
There's some
I'm
Brits in the
standing
chat.
ready over here. I've got my console ready to go at Prime Video and at MGM Studios. Hashtag we want Stargate. I want to put like, you know what? Canon Stargate, preferably. There we go. I'll Stargate.
Coming in here with a preference.
Acknowledging. I don't know how to spell that. Brad Wright Canon Stargate. Let's do that. All right. And speaking of, what's going on after we stop talking at about an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes from now, folks?
Well, when we're done having our little chat and our little analysis of the episode, head on over to the companion after that. That's going to be a fun time for everybody.
The companion YouTube channel, they are going to have a live stream with Brad Wright and Richard Dean Anderson in honor of the 25th anniversary. So that's going to be happening, getting started just about 2 hours from now. We're going to go almost exactly up to that with our review, but we will stop before, so you'll be able to go and switch over, and that's the game plan there. Am I missing anything else? Brad Wright and Richard Dean Anderson, companion YouTube. After the episode is over, we'll have a brief review of, how we feel about this particular cut, and also something called The Last Word. And it's not our last words, it's the episode's last word. It's the thing that the episode is meant to leave us with for those who are a little bit more philosophical. So that's the intent. You guys ready to go?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've got it up and waiting. I'm waiting for you to count me down in whichever way you choose to do.
Well, it makes me more orange. So how we tend to do this, how we've been figuring out how to do this, is we have been synchronizing with our computers. So everyone who is watching, they're about 20 seconds behind on this, but we will be synchronizing this way. And just watch it 20 seconds behind us, which is all that you can do because that's how the show is published to all of you. But as far as everyone is going to be concerned who is watching, wherever they are and whenever they are, it is simultaneous. So that is our intent. When we go ahead and get the episode started, that's when we're going to start watching it. So also this cut has some people have Showtime Presents at the top of it. Ours does not. Ours just has the roaring lion, and that's when we'll get started. And you guys all set?
Absolutely.
All
Ready
right.
to go.
Yep.
Let's go ahead
Ready for
and
the show.
sit down and watch Children of the Gods together. All right. Let's go ahead and bring this in here. Let me pull this up. That is not the right number. Let's go ahead and stop that. All right. Children of the Gods. You guys ready?
All right, give us a countdown.
I'm going.
In 5, 4, 3.
I'm mucho excited.
Hi, this is David. Nicole.
Nicole, yes.
And Yvie.
And Yvie.
Gosh, guys, we're starting off strong here.
Yeah,
We're the
sorry.
Wormhole Extremists. And this is Children of the Gods, the Showtime original cut that premiered 25 years ago today. And if y'all are watching at home, you're watching along with us. And there are, 5 airmen playing poker?
Yes.
We couldn't figure out what kind of poker, though.
Yes, someone tell us what kind of poker that is. It's not Texas Hold'em.
It's
It's
definitely
something.
not Texas Hold'em. I'd be curious to know. And also, there's some interesting allusions in this scene that suggest that, while someone else is dialing our address, the wormhole is kind of creating ooh, I feel like I'm getting ready to turn on, so I'm going to start displacing some air.
Yeah. Bit of a magical element. That movie magic.
What was it when you guys were
For a
saying the
TV
other
show.
day? There's a couple of episodes where, while the Stargate is still having its incoming wormhole, the iris code is received.
It's already starting to do its
Yeah.
thing, and we're like, hey guys,
A
our
bit
communication
premature.
with other planets isn't that fast as much as we'd like it to be. So
And this is before they
Ooh,
added the
something's
dampeners to the gate
happening.
room.
yeah, where it's all
Because
still shaking.
It's all still shaking. That is such a beautiful shot. However they got that piece of cloth to do what it did, I'd love to know.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I like to think they had a big piece of paper. They just went give it a little wave, and then had a little tiny string that just gave it a tug at the last second.
Well, I did find out how they did the kawoosh. They actually did it in a big water tank.
Yes.
It was shot underwater. That's so cool.
I
That's correct.
never knew that. I've learned things.
Yep, they did that for the feature film, and then they took some. They did the same thing for Children of the Gods, and I think a few more times in season 1, and then they switched over and just did it digitally until they got to SGU, and they returned it to an old-fashioned tank because you just cannot beat.
It's classic.
Yeah, it works.
Jeremy has just said, did you do the movie before this and I missed it? No, we're just doing this because it's 25th anniversary of SG-1. So
Right. We'll be starting this fall with the movie.
yeah.
So this is the gold shock grenade, but it was at this point used as kind of their MALP. So any planets that the Gould have not explored, this is what they use to send through.
Yeah, it's been a while since they've been to Earth, so it's good to do a little check.
There's
Her
Teal'c.
military training is just not kicking in, is
That is
it?
Teal'c.
Exactly.
So Jean Diatta, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, says it was 5-card draw is what they were playing.
Thank you.
So there we
Five-card
go.
draw. And there he is himself. That boombox voice of a man.
Beautiful man. I mean, not yet because I can't see his face, but there it is.
With the most amazing eyeliner.
Yes, absolutely. There's something just extraordinary about Peter Williams' performance. It's like on the scale
And he
of
is
Shatner.
the world's
He believes
most dissatisfied employee.
I hate you. I'm gonna give you the eye because you're not gonna pay any
Just
attention.
absolute contempt.
I love I just love the way that Teal'c's makeup changes over the series. It starts with
Because he's
no
really
makeup.
gold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he starts with no makeup, just the gold
And
color.
the eyebrows, it looks like they've shaved them off and he's had them drawn on.
Yeah, Jan Newman, she makeup key. They figured stuff out as they went along.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny says strong makeup. Jenny Stiven,
Strong
love
makeup.
you. She's in our audience.
I do love Jenny.
Do love some Jenny. And I got a few of our moderators as well who have come over from Dial.
Oh, I read somewhere that initially in the first run of the script, the Guawals like in the pouches when the Jafar killed, they were supposed to go to Apophis, who was a pet back then.
Yes.
And he was supposed to like hold them lovingly like a father figure.
Yes. There are
Interesting.
actual illustrations of this for the opening sequence. I can show them at some point here. I should probably
Yeah, that'd be nice.
pick up our technology. We're not going to leave any of that behind. Don S. Davis.
Oh, may this magnificent man rest in peace. I loved him in X-Files as well. He's great.
Yeah. So this wasn't the first time you had seen him, or was it?
It might have been. My dad was throwing X-Files at me
Oh, I
before
see.
Stargate.
Okay. So you might have
but-
sought him, but he wasn't Don. He wasn't who he was until. you
Yeah,
started
I mean, I
watching
was
Stargate.
5, so I wasn't as appreciative of people's ability to act until I got
I think
older.
I saw him in Look Who's Talking.
I
It was like
love
the Doctor in Look
this
Who's
high
Talking.
shot that comes through. This
It's
great
one of
shot.
these expensive shots.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I read somewhere that the whole episode cost like $6 million or something.
It was a lot of money, and a lot of that
Yeah.
went into the R&D for the Stargate's puddles. You know, the puddle really
It's
is like the
crazy.
the effect for this
Yeah.
episode.
I
And
just
yeah,
want to
and I think
complain.
after-
Worst intro ever. I hate it.
Really?
It's so boring. Like, okay,
It's
so
just taken from the movie?
It's
yeah, I
fine.
watch every intro, right? But every time I get seasons 4 and 5, or I watch this one, I go make myself a cup of tea because I can't be asked. I'm annoyed.
I usually skip them as well.
Linda
I don't skip
Gategabber
them, I'm not a
Fury.
monster.
Welcome to Linda Gategabber. Hello,
Hi, Linda.
happy
Hello,
anniversary.
Linda.
Producer on Dial the Gate. So
Don wears a similar uniform on Twin Peaks. Yes, he does. I forgot.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I have not seen Twin Peaks, but I've heard
No,
it's
nor have
amazing.
I.
It's on my list. So
Supposed to mess with your head.
okay, very good.
Yeah,
Like
so my
this,
problem with this is the fact that we're seeing Ra's face. It's like he's not relevant anymore. I know he was the star, but during seasons 4
Yeah.
and 5, get him out.
They're just
Yeah,
trying
they-
to, they're
they
just
should have
trying to tie
updated
it
it, yeah.
together to the film.
I first saw this in syndication, so I did not see this shot. I saw
Ooh.
the season 1 montage. That's
interesting.
what was already created. By the time that season 1 went to syndication, they had the season 1 imagery. So I'm assuming you guys have seen that one. Samuels. Sparky.
Yes.
Will always be Sparky.
He
to
was
me.
in one nice episode of Battlestar Galactica where I was like, yeah, you're all right. But I remembered him as Samuel's side, but I was like, I'm waiting for you to be rude.
Well, I read that in the original draft of the script that O'Neill was supposed to be really scruffy. Like he's supposed to have like long hair and a big beard and mustache, but that didn't really work with
Well, he has a
98,
decent haircut
so
here.
They
I think
toned it
that's
down.
sufficient.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's only going to be for, the first, 15 minutes of the show. I would have gone for it. About a year of growth. Yeah, because at the beginning of Stargate the movie, his hair is longer. So that
Yeah.
would have been a
Yeah,
nice
yeah.
callback or a MacGyver back.
Did they color his hair?
They did early on.
they?
I
It
know
looks
they
like it's
did.
got a rinse.
Yeah.
It looks like
They
it has
did,
a rinse
okay.
through
They
it.
they dyed
Yeah.
his hair a lot, and then eventually he just accepted it in like season
In
end of
season
season
3,
2,
he
beginning
goes
of
salt
season
and
3.
pepper.
Yeah, he
he's
finally
he's a silver
accepted
fox.
his fate.
Just wear it, like me.
Yeah, I'm glad
Trying to
he
just lean
accepted
into
his
it.
fate.
The premature graying.
He's a
It was
good-looking
great.
man. There's nothing wrong with that. So
It's funny that the same time that he decided to go salt and pepper, Michael Shanks also decided to change his hair during like the same episode where he went short.
I think that
Yeah.
was. You think that was a Shanks call, or you think that was a production decision? By the end of
feel-
season
Oh.
2,
I
I'll
feel
bet
like
it was production.
it was a
It's like,
Shanks
okay.
call.
You think so?
but
Maybe
You think
it
it was
makes
We'll
him
have
look
to
more
find- I don't
mature
know.
because he's only 26 or something when they started filming.
Well,
Michael
it was the
Shanks
last
was
vestige
26.
of Spader.
Yeah.
Was
That's
the
what I mean.
look.
Michael Shanks was trying to
Mm.
like create his own version of Daniel. I feel like
Well,
getting a haircut.
unlike
was needed.
Spader, he's actually held on to his hair over the years.
Oh my god.
Oh, coming
Also,
for Spader.
Shanks is younger than
No.
Spader, so
Oh,
let's
yeah,
see where
true.
things go.
I know.
This is the one time really that, well, no, the secondary, the primary and secondary elevators are mentioned, I think, in There Before the Grace of God.
We
but
see them
actually
happening,
this.
but not much.
Right.
Mm.
Whenever I see them trying to leave the facility, I'm always like, oh yeah, that second elevator.
Jenny
Yeah,
says,
but-
oh man, that was the worst hair dye job.
Dear, oh dear.
Shanks cut Gene Diotta Smith. Shanks cut his hair because he was playing Hamlet in a stage play. Interesting.
Well,
okay. There you
and
go.
then he kept it. I'm okay with it.
I like it shorter.
Mario as a Party directed. Donna Davis called him a man of limited imagination.
Ooh, burn.
For this pilot, he wanted Hammond. Don wanted Hammond to have some bit of soul, and as a party wanted him to play it very straight and military.
Right.
And so they butted heads on this.
I was going to say, Donna Davis wants to play a human character that we can actually tie ourselves to.
But also at the same
Not that
time, I
military people
understand
aren't, but,
where
you know.
Mario is coming from because he's setting up that there are certain beasts that he has to hit. So
This is true.
I would have been interested to see a more Don interpretation of, he's a teddy bear that we
Don's
eventually-
aggro enough for me in this episode. Okay,
Exactly.
okay.
He's
already,
aggro for at least the first few.
this part here
The marsupial.
is so because in the newer version they cut to the woman behind.
Correct. And then
Which
They
is
that
do.
was,
interesting.
Yeah, they do.
Yep, that was
And
an
they
interesting
cut that
choice.
speech in the
for both
Hammond's
sexes.
office as well as shorter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they
See, it's
established
these things.
that, especially in what's the episode with the Amazonians, that the Jaffa, the females are not under the serving in the armies.
Oh yes.
This was kind of contradicting that when we saw that in Children of the Gods, the final cut, but it's still cool.
Yeah.
So
I'm so happy we're watching this one because the beats are all hitting at the right time for me.
we couldn't figure out how they worked. This little button right here, by the way, guys, you couldn't figure that
Surely
out.
it wouldn't have taken that much to figure that out.
That's
It
why
was
they
just
cut
like
the
a twist
dialogue.
motion.
They cut the line in the final cut. That's one of the
Yeah.
things that I appreciated about it. So sorry,
I'm
half
sure
of this
they've
is
got,
going to
like,
be
a team
comparing
of
this to the final
experts.
cut. So
It's gonna be me going, this is why I prefer this version.
yeah.
I just realised Donis Davis has a little bit of blonde in his hair. Isn't that nice?
I think it's like a little bit red.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of like a strawberry blonde.
Yeah, look at it. Oh, I forget that he had a bit of colour.
He was Dana Elkar's stunt double on.
I was literally just about to say
MacGyver.
that. I was
And
about to say that.
he was. They handpicked him for Hammond. I have illustrations from the pilot. He was definitely not in the illustrations as
Chaos
Donis
Knight
Davis.
is making a point about saying the airman's rank for the elevator always confused him. He has an NCO rank on his sleeves, but looks like it's a major's oak sleeves on the shoulder.
Yeah, there were
Yeah,
inconsistencies in the uniforms here. Those
Yeah.
were mostly ironed out after the pilot. And I
Oh my
was
God.
like,
Sorry, David Druid in the chat just said MacGyver mullet might have served as a symbiote deterrent. Oh, that was funny, man. Killed
Jay
me.
Acavone and Brent State replaced the actors from the feature film.
I
Indeed
love
they
Jay
did.
Acavone. My friend,
Oh.
when he watched this recently, he was like, he's never seen it. He was like, I can't believe they killed Kowalski so fast.
Yeah, they wanted
I
to
know.
establish that this is war and people die a lot. So
Yeah. I'm glad that they brought him back in a couple of episodes because I really liked his character.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just listened to your interview with him from a while back, David, and it's awesome. He
thank
seems like
you.
such a genuine
He's one
guy.
of the greatest people ever.
Yeah,
I love that.
and
man.
I loved his little story about being on the planet, and he got a little bit too close to one of the props, and it exploded in his face, and he thought he was blind.
I'm blind. I'm blind. Yeah, Christopher Judge always makes fun of him. We're
I like
doing
that Samuels is having to recap his own mission report to him.
well, yeah, they're catching us up for those who haven't seen the movie or
I know, I'm just hating on Samuels for him doing a recap. Like, how
But
shut your
also-
mouth, Samuels.
they're also showing us where things differ from his report versus what we actually saw in the film.
Yes,
because he
I love
lied.
my report is not entirely accurate, sir.
Right, exactly. Daniel Jackson is alive and living with the people on Abydos.
Didn't they reuse this corridor and broke a divide? And they put cells in as well on the left.
Oh yeah, possibly. I
All
literally just
kinds
watched
of
that a couple of days
things.
ago.
Yeah.
Interesting. You went out of your way to rewatch Broke a Divide?
Sam and Jack make out for the first time. It's a big deal.
Oh,
even if
yeah,
it
hello.
wasn't
Okay,
central.
Hello, Sam and Jack Shipper here.
Okay, fine. I mean, it's not really them, but
No, but he was
definitely
Yeah,
not
I know,
Sam.
I know.
So, you know.
I mean, it is
I know,
them,
but it's
but
a
like
little bit
psychologically, Sam.
non-consensual
Right.
as well.
Exactly. Poor Jack.
I know. I literally was talking about Brief Candle before. That's like 2 episodes and within the first 5.
Woe is him that he has all these hot ladies coming after him.
Right, exactly. Countdown's already started unless you have something to add. Look at the look on his face. He knows he's got him cornered.
He knows he's baiting him.
Of course.
Smart. It's good play.
Oh,
Hammond ain't stupid.
Years of experience.
What's nice is he won't really play them like this again.
No.
He's just doing it for the first time because he's trying to get to know his character.
Nope.
He doesn't trust him yet.
And keep in mind, he met him in 1969 already.
I forget when I watched this episode.
Oh, yes, of course.
I always found that really interesting. I remember when I first watched 1969 and I was like, man, sometimes obviously it wasn't premeditated. They didn't write
it wasn't written yet, but I mean they figured they could get away with it.
They did.
I love
really well.
Yeah, it was a very good episode.
Also love the way he pronounces his words. Like he'll pronounce like a WH word with why. And I love that. It's such a I don't know where in America that's from or why people say it like that, but I love it.
He's Texan, isn't he?
Is that a Texan thing?
Texan,
I don't know if
think
it's a
that's
Texan
been
thing.
established it. I don't think it's a Texan thing. He's definitely a Mississippi actor, so there are certain things that are just going to come out unless they're consciously changing it. I want that.
You know what we're like? I figured we're like those people who talk during the movie, but we give insightful comments. Just annoy people.
I don't like talking too much during episodes, because I don't want to ruin it. However, everyone here has seen it, so it's okay.
That's the point.
It feels
this
weird.
This is for a seasoned audience.
Yeah.
So sure. I just feel bad for the one guy who has to wear a hard hat, and everyone else, except for the military guys, they don't have to. It's like, what? Is he like prone to accidents or something?
I love that is it Mebius how you pronounce it? I love that Daniel finally calls Jack out being like, how come we have to wear these things and you don't?
Right, exactly.
Like the proper helmets.
Yeah.
Oh, Mobius, yeah.
Yeah, I said Mebius, but I thought it was Mobius, but I got corrected.
No, Peter Williams corrected us, remember?
He said it was Mebius, yeah.
At the con, he said it was Mebius.
Yeah.
I think he's wrong.
I think he's wrong, but
I don't know. That's what he said to us, and I was like, oh, okay.
One of the best changes,
I'm not going to argue with Apophis.
The more subtle changes about the final cut is that Brad deletes the line, "We went through that entire mission together, and I didn't realize you had a son."
Yes, exactly.
Because later on in the series,
named after him.
Yeah.
He's
named after him, and he is he spent the 80s with him, and got to second places.
In Gamekeeper, when I was watching that when I was a kid, I remember being like, you already knew him, so what are you on about?
Yeah, that's one of the nice things about Final Cut is that it acknowledges, by deleting those elements, it acknowledges the relationship.
So.
Yeah, I still prefer this version.
Yeah, I don't necessarily approve of all of the
changes,
amendments that were done in the 2008 version, but that one definitely I approve.
I think we're gonna have to watch Final Cut this fall, so that we can just go back to back after the Stargate movie, watch that version.
Oh, I'll do it. I'm gonna be grumpy about it.
I would expect nothing less.
Yeah. Oh, here comes the teddy bear. This is great.
Teddy bear in uniform.
Couple thousand.
Looks great. 5,000. He's thinking. He's thinking it over. Because at this point, the Stargate only goes one place.
I didn't even say anything. Yeah.
That's it. Exactly right.
Which is why they didn't bother putting an iris in, because they're like, well, Daniel's gone, the gate's buried.
There's no reason.
Originally, it was supposed to be an iris and then a concrete barrier. That blew my mind, but then they thought it was just overkill to have 2 barriers.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
In production or?
I think it was in the original script.
For Children of the Gods?
Yeah.
Wow.
I just want to say again, Stargate's ability to reuse corridors is
I love
unbelievable.
It with that
magic.
Big thick door closing.
Yeah.
It's used so many times. I love it.
It
You
is.
can almost turn it into a drinking game.
My boyfriend was watching oh, which one is it? Which Message in a Bottle recently, and he was like, "My God, that door!" And I was like, "Have you not seen it like 10 times already? It's used like every time they're having a foothold or lockdown situation."
Oh, the actual steel door,
giant white one.
Yeah, that's actually in Cheyenne Mountain.
I assumed, yeah, because one of the
because
only
they were
like,
allowed to do
outside
some
shots.
filming, weren't they?
Yes.
They did lots
Martin
of
Wood
outside.
went down
Gary.
as an assistant. Yes, Gary Jones, his first appearance. Martin Wood
love
went
his
down as an
enthusiasm.
assistant director and shot that material, and then in season 8 went back down and shot more. And people remembered him, and also were Stargate fans at that point as well.
Isn't there
That's
a room
beautiful.
called like
Stargate Command.
I don't know. It's like yes,
It's a broom closet.
yeah. I love that.
I want to go there and be like, "Can I please go to Stargate Command?" And just
Well,
like,
the
just go
first
to the
thing that
closet.
will dawn on you is there's no missile silo in Cheyenne Mountain.
That you
Really?
know of.
There is.
That we know.
It's office buildings. That's all.
That's
It's
crazy.
not. There are maps of it.
I actually really like this
online.
shot from the other side of the water. It's
Yes,
great.
it's
Yeah.
cool. I love
And the
his
tissues.
like hesitations. Like
It's like
do
a
I just throw
Kleenex
it?
probe.
The object.
And this is when before it was still updated in canon to make it half a second to travel, like a split second.
Yeah, because wasn't it that
Ah.
in the original movie it's like, oh, the other side of the known universe, and I
Right,
was like,
exactly.
that's a bit too far.
Well, it had to be tantalizing.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the tissues have appeared on the other side all wet?
It's not water.
No.
But they always appear like slightly frozen.
They appear frozen.
In the
because,
early-
Oh, you
because
mean
of
with the
compression.
frosted
Yeah.
wax thing
Right.
they used on
Their
the
molecules undergo some
Yeah.
kind of compression. And
Yeah.
then once we get our alignment figured out, that no longer happens.
Yes.
I was going to say, Evie, if you still think that's water after all these years, we're going to have problems. Thank God you were like, no, that. I was like, oh, thank God, Evie.
Give her a break. Hammond snoozing on the job.
What, you taking a nap? They're waiting.
Catching some
He's
Ds.
napping, yeah.
He's a hardworking man, very close to retirement, so
Yeah.
he deserves a nap.
I love this shot.
How far apart were him and Richard Dean Anderson in age at this point?
Well, their age has remained constant. I mean,
Well, no, I'm saying because Donis Davis has passed away now.
It's probably about
Right.
12
like,
years or something.
Damn.
Thomas Davis was born.
I don't imagine it would have been that much.
1942.
Ah, and Richard
Anderson
Dean Anderson was
was
1950.
born 1950.
Of course
so
Evie
he's
knows
8
that.
years
So it's
old.
8
12 years.
There's a closer age difference between Hammond and Jack than Jack and SG-1.
Oh, very much so.
Wow. Unless you think of Teal'c as actually being Teal'c's age and not Christopher Judge's age. then Teal'c's way older. I love that he wrote a
Ben's
note like he
more.
knew it was Jack. This is like their
Yeah.
romance is really just like it's already blossoming beautifully. Like even if you haven't seen the film.
Just one of my favorite lines from this. They could be blowing their noses right now.
Yeah, I love that.
It's so funny.
Like, what if the aliens get it? Yeah, it's not hostile.
Right.
Some tissues, bro. Chill out, Samuels. Put a smile on your face.
So, I think I read somewhere that there's like a bit of a inconsistency in the years because like the film came out in what, like
Correct.
95?
It's supposed to be a 94, and
this-
it's supposed
yeah.
to be a year later. Yeah.
a year, and
So
this
Yes.
is
in
97.
series canon, the Abydos mission took place in 1996.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, early 96.
Okay, this is the part that isn't ruined. The final cut ruined it.
You think so?
Let's talk about your internal organs. Yeah, I don't care. When I was a kid, I loved
think
this.
it toned down her geekiness.
Yeah. I did look into that as well.
They cut down the astronaut doll as well with the backpack they made him fly and all that stuff. And it's like
Major
I
Matt
think that
Mason.
stuff was I think that was important.
You think so?
For me it was because I played with Action Man instead of Barbie as a kid. So I was like, I get this.
I think Sam apparently was originally supposed to be just a lieutenant, and she had a different
Really?
surname, and they changed it.
Interesting.
I
I know that
love
she
this.
wasn't going to be in like an Air Force dress
just gonna be a
blues
doc-
here. They were making a custom uniform for her
Yeah.
to kind of accentuate Amanda's look.
Oh, I
and-
heard about this recently. Yeah.
It did not
She
go
was
over well. She was pretty upset. She was crying over it, and it
Yeah.
was like, you know what,
Yeah.
guys,
It was a network decision, wasn't it? Not the producers.
correct. I think so. And it's just like you can't. you have to make this as real as reasonable. There are things that you can change because it's a sci-fi show, but don't just do that.
Yeah.
Her beauty will come out in the stories. There will be opportunities off-world to, get her into something different. But while she's on Earth, she is Air Force.
Oh, here we go, guys. It's coming. It's coming.
I think I saw somewhere that they ended up cutting this bit because it was a parody of feminism, is the quote that I saw.
Well, I don't mind a parody of feminism.
So it's like a disservice to feminism. It's too generic.
Well, for 1997, I feel like this was really necessary.
She hated this. She hated it though.
I know she did.
She'd only just signed on for it wasn't her contract quite limited. So she felt like she couldn't really speak up. She had to sort of just go with what was written in the script, even though she hated it.
Here we go.
Oh, for God's sake.
Love it.
Oh, it's so cringeworthy.
I don't find it cringe. I go and rewatch this, and then then I go out into the world.
Well, it should
kind of
be.
Feel for her.
The statement should be, and just because my reproductive organs are on the outside rather than the inside, because the outside would be a disadvantage. So structurally,
she's at an advantage.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So
I think she's just doing a comparative of just because I don't have the masculine part hanging out of me doesn't mean I can't do it.
She would be at an advantage because she can't be kicked in the balls.
I was gonna say.
Yes.
Okay, Anthony Rawling just said it is a shame that they deleted it from the final cut. Thank you, Anthony. And then
I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence about it.
The chat
it's an iconic line, but not necessarily in the right, for the right reasons.
And Linda's even saying she was dealing with daily issues with her male colleagues as well. So this was perfect.
Oh, yeah. There's no doubt that it's a thing for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying that for for me growing up, I was just yes, queen. It's it means a lot to me, that line. But I am over the top and I love just loud, annoying things. So I guess it works for me.
I would have loved a little bit of backstory for each of these people sitting here.
Yeah, a lot of them are just never going to be seen again.
Correct.
Yeah, I was going to say, do we see any of them again?
No.
Not the main ones at the front.
We're replicating the Stargate film scene with all the generals.
Yeah.
And,
do we see Ferretti again? Is it Ferretti?
Yeah, we do. We see him at the end of the season.
I forget that we do.
Yep. He's supposed to go retrieve SG-1 after they go to Apophysis' ship, but Apophysis' ship already leaves orbit.
Yeah, they also edited this scene down in Final Cut. They didn't have as much playfulness before going through the gate, Sam and Jack. Basically, right, they cut down all the flirting with Sam and Jack, and as a shipper, I'm not okay with it.
Agreed. But I think they sort of focus more on Sam's wonderment.
Mm-hmm. This is true.
Seeing,
this is true.
Yeah, the fluctuations
but Sam
in the
can be incredibly smart and appreciate science while also trying to get a man. She can pull everything off at once.
Cut her line in
it's
the
astronomical
2008
to use
edit
exactly the right word.
When she goes through the gate and then complains that she's feeling sick. They cut that.
Oh, they cut that. Okay.
Yeah, they did. They did, didn't they? I actually liked that line because she's you can pull all the G's, but you can still feel sick on your first trip through.
Yeah.
Jenny asks if they ever bring up her 100 hours in the Gulf War again. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
I think that would have been useful at some point.
Yeah.
Nerdy Sam. I love how in the final cut they add a sound of her reaction to being shoved.
They do the little gasp. Yeah, I realize that.
But it's a great introduction. Jack
also the final
Sam
cut changed the wormhole to be the non-original wormhole. They changed it to be one of the modern ones. And my friend, when he was watching it, I was like, you ignore that, you close your eyes, don't look at it, I was like,
don't look at it, avert your eyes.
He was watching the Amazon Prime version because that's all we had access, because he was in his house and I was in mine, and I was like, you're not allowed to look at this intro because the wormhole is incorrect for the time.
Does anyone else ever get bothered by the fact that the wormhole wasn't a straight line? It's I'm going to go over here, then I'm going to go over here. I guess it could be dodging dark matter.
I always assumed it was just dodging
going around
black holes
planets
or suns because of all the future episodes we see where it's like, hey, we went through this planet's sun and now it's all red.
It could be.
oh, we went through this planet's sun, or we got close to it. An ejection of the coronal whatever happened, and
Coronal mass.
1969.
Coronal
You know, the fun times.
They merged the chambers so that the Stargate is now in the pillar room rather than further down below into a cavern. Hey, those are all ours.
Skara. Man, that man lived with me for like 3 weeks, and it was a great time.
You're gonna have to tell us some Alexis Cruz stories at some point.
Oh, I've got some great stories about him playing Assassin's Creed. All I heard was sea shanties into the night.
So you can't just leave it at that. There was a convention going on, and Alexis was spending some time
want me to expand on that? Yes, he stayed at mine for a while because we're pals.
Yep.
Chummy.
Not as chummy as these two.
No.
Exactly.
I always had wished that Jack had said, "You're English. Listen to you. You speak English. You sound great."
Yeah. Apparently those dreadlocks were awful to wear. Because it was
Really?
like an actual full-on wig rather than a weave.
You sold
I think
it.
in the movie it was
It's long and
actually
prosperous.
like his own hair with extensions.
Someone just said, "Come try it." Oh, it's Akosh. Oh, hello. Come try her, my friend.
Hello, Akosh.
Hey,
Vai
Akosh.
Vaitiari Bandera.
Is.
Now Vaitiari
She
Hershon.
is a beautiful woman.
Inside
she's
and
stunning.
out.
Yeah.
My interview, I loved my interview with her. I want her back so
I
bad.
just watched it.
Also, like, you know, I love her in this episode because she's so like fierce, but she's not vocal enough. You know, they didn't give her much to play with. I love when every time she comes back because she got so much more material to work with.
Not enough in my opinion, but yeah.
No.
It
I am
was better.
curious, with season 3, were they already separated when they had to do her dying? And they wrote her out for that reason?
Yeah.
Wow.
No, it wasn't for that reason. She wanted out. She didn't want. I don't think she wanted to be in the area anymore. I think.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
I didn't know if it was for that reason or not.
Yeah, she talks about it in my interview.
Yeah.
So, there were other. It was the daughter. She wanted to spend more time with her daughter, and so.
Their incredibly talented daughter who
so
did her own film a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ra is back. Oh no. What will we do? Oh, by the way, I found some things out. Come with me to the map room.
I love that he says 36 hours a day every day because you know the day's work different.
And it sets up the fact that a year and a half on Earth is a year Abydos time, which is why, you know, it's middle of season 2 is when we go back. They were really good about organizing everything.
Yeah.
Kind of missing, is it Kasuf in this episode?
Yes. Yeah, they wanted to get him, but he was unavailable.
Scheduling conflicts.
Akosh is sharing fun facts. Adam Harrington plays one of the Goulds who selects hosts. He played Konsu in season 6 as the other guys. I didn't know. Oh, you're right. His eyes.
They do like to use the same actors.
I just watched the other guys. You're so right.
I like to assume that is Zapakna because he has a similar hairdress.
Yeah, I always assumed that same, yes. And then he changed his outfit very much in season 5 during Summit and Last Stand.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, Gould's got
They go through phases. Yeah.
Right.
You know? I'm sure whoever they enslave next, they pick up new fashion tips from them.
I was imagine what this tasted like.
I'm sure it was just water.
Well, I mean, if in reality, so.
Yeah.
In reality. I love this lady. She's just having the time of her life.
She was deleted from the final cut.
She was,
really?
Yeah.
Her shot's not in the
I was
final cut.
sad not seeing her.
But she was living her best life.
I'm getting hungry just watching this, and I've eaten.
Good nod. Good feature film.
I had dinner, but it was like hours ago.
Could really eat what they're eating. I want to know what they're eating.
Whatever Abadonians grow in the desert.
Yeah, looks like some.
What do they eat? I was thinking, are they like vegetarian or would they be?
Well, remember they had that lizard thing. So
yeah, that's what I
God,
thought.
that thing. I don't want to eat that.
They probably eat mastich. There's some bread back there though, so they're
Jed Ted is my man is a gamer. It always makes me happy seeing Alexis in LA Noire. He plays a beat cop. He does, Jed Ted. He's also in Red Dead. He plays a beat cop in LA Noire, the game.
Oh, okay.
But he's also in Red Dead Redemption, but I don't know
Alexis
which part he is. Yeah, he's in Red Dead.
Okay.
I think he's like working in one of the towns.
Okay.
I was like, can you tell me who you are so I can go like murder them in the game? And he was like, I can't tell you exactly who. And I was like, damn.
Well, he doesn't know. Didn't want to tell you.
I don't know. I feel like it was 50-50.
That's hilarious.
I can understand why they fell for one another in this pilot. Absolutely.
Yeah.
They had these beautiful moments.
Pretty like amazing face disappearing smooch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. I saw a thing years ago, I have to point out. So I was like, when I was a kid, I used to watch a lot of Stargate stuff on YouTube. And I found this small little interview with Lexa and Michael Shanks. And they were talking about their relationship and how they met on Andromeda.
Yes.
And they were talking about how like they had an unscripted kiss in Andromeda that they decided to put in there. When they weren't together yet. Yeah. However, when the news, like the channel was doing a video and interview about it, they cut to a shot of Michael Shanks kissing Vatia in Children of the Gods.
No.
And I remember watching it as a kid being like, no, the disrespect.
Oh my gosh.
And then it cuts to Lexa saying, yeah, that kiss wasn't scripted. And I'm like, that's not
the wrong girl.
Wow.
It makes Michael Shanks look like some sort of dog, as Daniels Jack calls him in one of the episodes. But yeah, it really hurt me.
Great modified shot from the feature film.
It was, yeah.
So,
indeed.
There were a lot
of... thing in the...
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, in the 2008 version, I think they did more scenery shots, didn't they?
Yeah, they did a CG shot. This map room went through a couple of different designs. Some of the illustrations that they punched out for it were really incredible.
It was supposed to be bigger, really, wasn't it? And
right.
They made it smaller.
It's big enough.
It's not Goa'uld writing in some of the illustrations. It's actual star map. I mean, it's the Goa'uld interpretation of the stars. Whereas here...
Lily in the chat saying she loves the way they introduced that the Stargate can go many places.
Yep.
Kind of like how Jack says it in a minute. RF engineer. I like the kiss scene, and RDA's reaction is priceless. And Chaos Knight says, that's a big yikes from that interview. Yeah, I wish I could find the clip and bury it forever, because it makes me cringe. The shadow of the cameraman is visible on the walls of the pyramid when Apophis will leave Abydos. Akosh, don't say things like this in the chat. I will now notice it when I watch the episode.
No, I appreciate him doing that. So
I appreciate it, but it injures me.
Oh, stop.
Ark of the Covenant in the background. When I see errors in Stargate, one of the biggest ones for me is in Singularity. When they have the big hazardous like spray thing in front of the gate.
Yeah,
and
the
then
stock
they don't
shots
show it
are
when it
always
opens.
used.
Yeah.
That stock shot caused all kinds of inconsistencies.
It did.
Scientists are always down there and then they're suddenly not. So.
Yeah. I try not to overanalyze because then I just ruin it for myself.
Yeah, same. Which is why I have to ignore it.
So this is a key scene, everybody. This is setting up the premise for the show.
This is where I learned about stellar drift and red shifting and stuff. Very helpful towards my science exam at school.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I think about this, and then I think about the black hole episode and how we figure out that things are moving apart because we see the red shift from like the light, blah, blah, whatever. I forgot now, but I passed that part of my exam.
Apparently they weren't supposed to get along initially.
Really?
Sam and Daniel, yeah.
But they're like brother and sister.
I know.
Look at them.
I like that
I'm not surprised.
They're like BFFs.
Well, I think their chemistry is just too much that they couldn't not make them besties.
Maybe. I think they were really they kind of were drawn to each other at the auditions.
All three of them were. Sam Teal'c and Daniel, the actors were. Yes.
Yeah.
They talked about that for years.
I saw somewhere that in the auditions, the role of Sam was down to 2 different actresses, and Brad Wright really liked Amanda Tapping and kind of gave her like a few little tips on how to interact with RDA and like stand out.
Yeah.
Right. I believe that.
And she nailed it.
Akosh has just apologized. You don't need to apologize. Just it hurts me inside when I notice these things.
Akosh, you be you,
you
buddy.
be you, man. You be you. No need to
Akosh
apologize.
got to Akosh.
Yeah. Gator's got a gate. Akko's got a Akko.
Oh, and they did the lights on the gate to differentiate it from the film.
Yeah.
But you hear it spinning throughout the show, like
well, because they had to move it from set to set, so it's just
this is the location gate.
Yeah.
So the one that's in the gate room is not this one.
I like that they come in straight up opening fire because it's like they already know where they are. Like they know they're coming Abydos. They already know that
they
it's
already
like
know the
raw
situation
territory.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. I do like that they think about these things.
The
Right.
poor
Well, they didn't even need to send a
Aberdonians.
probe through. They knew what they were getting themselves into.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So they just went in guns blazing, like, yeah, this is Ra's territory. See how it's going. Even though he's dead.
And Apophis doesn't even wait, for the room to get all clear to come through. He just comes on through and lets them take care of everything.
Well,
He
he's got
knows
the
they're, like,
shield. I don't know if he has a
humans.
shield in this, but he has a shield later
He
on.
does.
I don't think he has one
we
yet. He
find
may
out
have.
in the Nox.
Yeah. But doesn't he have to
Yeah,
be
the
putting out his
personal shield
hand
in the
for that
Nox.
too?
Pardon?
Doesn't he have to be putting up his hand?
He does.
He may have he
Oh, no,
the
he doesn't,
shield
sort of.
active now. Yeah. That's interesting.
Okay, I just want to say right now, before it happens, I feel really bad for the amount of times Christopher Judge gets spat on by people. Because he's like the
does
Jafar,
tend
we
to,
hate you.
yeah.
He gets spat on by like his son, by Skara. Like
right
people
here.
get mad at him and then they're like, and I'm like, man, Chris, ugh.
That was real spit.
Yeah, it was.
That's assault. No, it's
Yeah.
battery. I think it's I think it's battery. Yeah.
I don't know.
So he's
Perfect
not
specimen.
just
I
looking
can't honestly
for...
say I've had a.
I hope
had an
as
occasion
Alexis
to look it up.
ages, he takes back, he looks at this episode and thinks, man, I was a perfect specimen, like he must feel really good about himself being referred to as that.
You could be the one.
Yeah. So my friend pointed out the other day how weirdly sexual Stargate is in some ways, because it's a lot of the serpents, a lot of the finding
phallic.
people. It's
Yeah.
very phallic in a
Yeah.
really
Phallic.
intriguing way. It's just very interesting just the way it does it. I feel like a lot of alien stuff tends to be, especially with the Alien movie, if you go back there. But yeah, it's very, very interesting. I never noticed as much as a child, but now that I'm older, I'm like, damn, it is a bit. So
He must have amazing vision out of that one good eye. Because he's like at a weird angle and he still manages to figure out what chevrons have been logged.
It's Air Force training.
I guess.
yeah.
Maybe he used like some sort of like numeric
Any members of
device
the
or
Air
something
Force
to
in the
remember
chat?
what they were.
Good for you.
Well, there are some in the population who have photographic memory, so
Oh,
Yeah.
that would be amazing.
Chaos Knight, even though the final cut does a good job cutting the scene, I really like the original. Something about the ADR they did just kind of ruins it in the final cut. I agree,
Interesting.
Chaos Knight. If you look close, Sam and Daniel have the same haircut. They do kind of, yeah.
They do.
that is true. Hey,
Oh,
it's the
Summer's in
90s.
here.
Like this, I can always see the similarities between Sam and Sarah.
Oh god, that always annoys me. Yeah, the fact that they're
Yeah.
both like S names, the fact they both have the short blonde
The
hair.
short blonde hair.
It's like
and
Jack
they're
has
both
a
like
type.
mechanically minded because she's like tinkering with
Yeah.
the car at the start.
Jack likes
Obviously, he's got a
women
type.
that are very intelligent with tech of different kinds, machines.
Hmm.
My wife was just taken. Leave me alone. I'm going to have a moment now.
Yeah. Well, the military training is kicking in. Daniel's all emotional. He's not built like that.
The staff blasts caused a lot more bloody damage earlier in the show rather than just those cauterized wounds that came later.
Yeah.
Budget. Bigger budget.
It's
more
kind of like how in
blood.
Star Wars, when Obi-Wan cuts off that alien's arm in the cantina, it's all bloody. But then every time you see somebody get sliced up now, it's like, oh, it's cauterized.
I just assumed it was
Cauterize,
something
yeah.
about that alien's blood that just didn't cauterize. So
I love that Daniel's glasses are broken as well, and he's had to tape them up.
I was
with
literally just
Absolutely.
thinking that.
Yeah.
It's like Harry Potter before Harry Potter.
See, the drama here feels more concise. Like I feel like
Huh.
in the final cut, it feels a bit
Mm.
messier, the cutting around the room. While for me, with this version, it's like perfect for me.
Mm.
And also, like, I didn't like how the final cut did the goodbye to Daniel because it didn't feel as, I don't know. This one just feels more like it broke my heart more.
Joel Goldsmith shines in the final cut. In this one, they used so much of the stock audio from the film. And
I will say,
Jonathan Glassman was like, we've got it. Let's go ahead and use it. Which, there's certainly a point to that. At the same time, let Joel shine. He already wrote music for this.
For Joel Goldsmith's music, especially in season 1, like he does throw a lot in there that's juicy.
I think Brad Wright didn't like the music in this first version.
Joel created a soundtrack, and
because they merged two together, didn't they? They merged the film soundtrack with some original works, and he just called it noise or something.
All of Joel's original music, so for the final cut, you can actually get that on CD.
That is okay. So the thing is, the UK doesn't like to update with stuff like that, so I haven't been able to find the final cut on iTunes to download it. So
the episode itself?
No, as in like the music from it.
Oh, well,
he actually released it properly.
We'll look around.
I'd love to have it. I think the blood really adds to the tension and drama, as mentioned earlier, the stakes with this show. Yes, Chaos Knight. Vicky C says, I love Joel's soundtrack. Yes. Oh, this moment really hits me. Michael Shanks is a great actor. And the fact that he can like do this scene where they're all just touching his hair and like still like keep emotional and have it like still kind of hit you is great.
Nicole, click on the chat
like a pet.
Link that I just posted in the chat. You can
buy
the soundtrack there.
Everybody go do that at some point.
Please get a look at that. Yeah, we need to support the Goldsmith estate, because at some point I want to be able to go back to MGM with a game plan to release,
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh.
Gian Diata, sorry if I'm saying that wrong. Showtime wanted the sexual content, that's why we get the nudity in this one.
That's correct.
Yes, they did.
Showtime was advertising itself as no limits. I mean, it was a premium cable subscription. They had to come up with ways that they could exceed
I think the producers,
a typical cable channel.
I think the producers fought for the nudity a little bit as well, because they thought it added. They didn't want it.
No.
I saw something opposite to that.
Really? Brad wanted a family show. Brad wanted to, he's not a prude or anything, but he wanted a show that everyone could sit down and watch together as a group. And it's led to issues like this on Netflix.
The thing is, you can have a mature show that is family friendly, you know? Well, like the later seasons of Stargate. No, as in like, I'm saying the later seasons of Stargate get a bit darker.
Right.
But they're still accessible to family members and to kids. I didn't have a problem with season 9 and 10, and 7 also had some pretty dark moments as well. And it was still terrific. They could have had that kind of darkness while still keeping some light. So, I
mean, there's some pretty graphic stuff later on in this. I mean, an Iridus bug climbing out of Taylor's
Atlantis
abdomen,
is pretty
for
dark.
crying out loud. There's some stuff in there that's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, that I can't remember the name of that episode, and I'm sure you'll tell me in just a second. That one with the world, and it's like almost like Halloween-ish. I can't remember the name of the episode. Yes. That one scares the crap out of me, that episode.
There were some genuinely excellent jump scares there.
I'm not good with like anything kind of horror related, so
I have a weird question, and I don't know if this ever gets talked about or if anybody knows the answer, but the caveman in this episode, which I do really hate, and so him getting cut from the final cut is the one thing I'll give the final cut. He doesn't cut as much.
I read about him,
they cut the caveman.
They cut the caveman more in the other one. This one
he was supposed to have He was supposed to. Oh, you mean the guy that breaks out of prison with them at the end? Is that what you mean?
He throws rocks at the John.
He was supposed to have a fist fight with Jack O'Neill.
Oh.
And they ended up changing the script. That's what I read anyway.
Yeah, where I
read it. It was either the companion or it was might have been the companion.
Oh, okay.
But my question was always, I wonder, like, I know there are like cavemen in the universe, like probably somewhere, but I always wondered if he was from the Broken Divide planet. But he doesn't have the same level of aggro. I always wondered that.
It could have been Chaos Knight when SG-1 was back on US Netflix. Did they ever fix the show's rating? No, they did not.
I don't think they did, no.
No, it still included nudity and I know I heard people who said I'm not going to watch this show because my children and I watch Netflix, and I'm not going to.
Amazon has actually fixed that by having the final cut in place. So I will say
they replaced it with the final cut.
Yeah, so in English, Amazon, my friend, that's why they all had to watch the final cut, and I had to be like, ignore that, I hate that, or this is not the original.
I love this exchange here, Kowalski staying with Ferretti.
Yeah,
I said it's a nice, respectful moment.
Someone's looking over.
Brothers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Brothers in arms. Daniel, let's get out of here.
The Daniel,
and he doesn't know what to do. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
No, they didn't. I guess they just didn't assign him quarters. But at least they got him a shower and some clothes.
They did. Not that he needed one. He was looking like an absolute snack anyway. So
Imagine the
You have
stench.
no idea
though.
what he smelled like.
I don't think I
reckon he
care with
smelled
that face.
pretty rancid.
5 minutes away from the tweet storm, folks.
Ooh, good point. But Lily, I love how they tried to make Hammond like a bossy, mean general. They did, and it's beautiful that he's not in the end. Not entirely. He has his moments where he has to be like stern.
Of course, it's that, but it's not. You can't just have the one dimensionality.
Yeah,
So, I love Jack's fireplace.
me too.
The whole mantle.
I love
everything is
Jack's
like-
house.
Yeah, it's
I love
gorgeous.
Daniel getting drunk off one beer because that's usually me.
Is there a reason why
Lightweight.
Christopher Judge doesn't drink beer in Stargate? Like, you never see him with alcohol. He's always having juice when they're drinking beer.
I just assumed it was something to do with the symbiote.
I always assumed it was something personal to Christopher Judge.
I think Teal'c says at some point, "I don't consume alcohol," if I'm not mistaken.
Mm.
He
Yeah,
just
and I
didn't
remember
care
that, but I
for
didn't
it.
know why.
Daniel just doesn't
Mm.
like it. I think
I don't
I
blame
think he
him.
says that line.
I don't
in,
like beer either.
I love
Shades
beer.
of Grey.
No, give me a gin anytime.
I
don't
really
drink
want this
alcohol.
house. Me too. Let's move in together, Jean Diatta. Let's buy this house together. Even on Amazon, we have to rent it. Lily, that's sad. Is this in the
Interesting.
US?
I have a Prime Video account. Let me see what happens.
And is your feta an actual grain, or is
I
it made
think
up?
It's an Aberdonian grain.
Is it an actual grain in real life though, or is it made up for the series? I'm just curious.
Feta flour. That's not real.
Okay.
Never.
From Stargate SG-1 on Prime Video.
I was commenting on the
The
exchange.
video is currently unavailable.
Yeah,
Hmm.
while in the UK they've made it that it used to be on Netflix and have the 18 problem, but they've moved it all to Amazon. And
Yeah.
actually, the really stupid thing is every single episode from SG-1 is available on Amazon, seasons 1 through 8. Season 9 and 10 aren't, and the final episode from season 2 is also not available. So I had to buy it
Really?
to watch it with my friend
Why
so we
is
could stream at the
that?
same time. I don't know why. Amazon,
Different like licensing or something? That's bizarre.
it's a real mess with Stargate. A lot of the
Yeah.
episodes
Well, that's
you
the
just have
thing.
to
It's just a
purchase.
territorial thing. It
Yeah.
looks, from where I'm sitting, Universe is the only Stargate that's available to watch for free on Prime Video.
And for me, it's only all of Atlantis and then the first 8 seasons,
And you're
missing
in
a few
UK.
episodes of SG-1. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Australia. I don't
Hey,
think
there's
you can get it
Wetterings.
anywhere.
There's so much like weird nudity going on. Like the outfits are very see-through here. Like 1 or 2 of them you can
Do
see
they
a
have
lot
like a
more.
wardrobe mistress and it's just
Christina
her job
McQuarrie.
to no, like I meant like in Apophis' like
Oh, because you can kind of see
castle
through
or
her
whatever.
outfit there, and it's like, oh my goodness,
I'm
like there's so
sure
much of it.
They
cover it
have
up,
these
good.
things dry cleaned after one of the slaves dies, and they're just put into a wardrobe and then brought back out when another girl comes along.
Yeah.
So, there was Showery right there.
So what was the reason for having her not be nude, but having Shara be nude?
I think that they wanted to give the audience a visceral response that
Yeah.
Share is being.
Because obviously they're both nude, but you don't see her.
They are,
fully
but
nude.
with us, we get a visceral reaction when it's Vi's
But
turn.
that interview
Because
you
right.
did with her was almost heartbreaking. I felt
Yeah, it was really
bad
painful
her.
for a while. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know, because she just sort of, removed her clothes in good faith, thinking that they were just going to show the top half, and then
Right.
found out
And
just
then
before they
the lower
released it that
half-
it was the whole thing.
the whole thing.
And she had to sign a new contract and kind of felt like she
Correct.
was almost bullied into it. That's just awful.
I actually have an interesting thing to make. I believe the iTunes version, if you buy off the iTunes video player area, the first
Mhm.
Stargate episode, that's not the final cut, they actually blurred out her nether regions.
Interesting.
And I was like, oh, so
Oh.
that this one kind of followed what she was expecting. And I just found it interesting that iTunes did that while Amazon didn't and put the final. Everything does Stargate different. It's very confusing.
Teal'c's disdain is also much more keenly noticed
is.
in
It really
Final Cut
is.
than it is here.
One of my
He's
favorite
like
things.
shaking his head.
about this show is the episode Threshold, where he's being put through run through the mill. Yeah, and he's flashing back to this episode. And my friend watched it recently, and he was like, "This episode just makes it so much better." Yeah, same.
When he says, "What have I done?" It's like, oh.
And
shit.
then he has the "I chose freedom" after the flashbacks.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
Is her face because this is painful? It almost looks like
it's
she's
sexual.
Enjoying it.
Yeah,
I think that's what I'm saying about this.
It's definitely euphoric.
Stargate is very much that it was trying to be a very mature show, I think, and trying to add some sort of sensuality to the Goa'uld, I guess. But then in the end, they're just like, you know what, the Goa'uld are just nasty snakes, and let's make it child friendly. You know, I like that.
She's gonna pass.
No deal.
Yeah.
All right.
Not pretty enough, apparently. I think
Shame.
she looks pretty damn fine. So.
I love his wardrobe.
Same. That guy's
Christina McQuarrie did
fabulous.
a great job.
Yeah.
Goodbye, wet rings.
I love Apophis. He's the best.
He's so good at being
pompous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send another.
This guy just doesn't care.
Let's try again.
Oh, tweet storm.
Yes, it's 3:00.
I'm retweeting Gateworld.
Oh, the companion link has just come through as well.
Yep.
Beautiful. That's what you want to see.
So. There we go. Perfect.
I thought he was dead.
He's definitely dead, right? The bomb. I mean. Well, we see it as an audience, but he was in orbit, so God knows from their perspective.
That's true. You don't really know.
So yeah, I mean, knowing Stargate, the amount of times they've seen Apophis die.
Well, they don't know what he is exactly, so they don't know what his body can withstand.
Correct. Yeah. That's a very, very thorough point.
I'm just retweeting everything from everybody I follow because I don't have time to construct the tweet myself.
I gave you an hour heads up.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't know what to write, so I just like, I'll just go with what everyone else says. Yeah, we can handle it.
We beat him once.
So I have a question for everyone. I was having this discussion with hubby the other day when we were rewatching this episode.
Yes.
Why did Apophis decide at this particular point in time to come through to Earth? Was he trying to find new hosts? Like there was.
What triggered this particular time?
Yeah, there was nothing really.
There was a power vacuum when Ra was destroyed. Ra, Abydos and Earth fell under Ra's territory.
Right.
Everyone had kind of left Earth alone for the past, several hundred years at least, because they were good in terms of hosts and could take care of each other or get a lot of hosts from one another when they absorbed other domains. But when Ra was defeated, it left a power vacuum, and at the same time, Apophis was looking for fresh cattle.
Yeah.
So
that's fresh domain.
God knows how long they've been trying to dial us over the centuries with the Stargate in the ground.
That's
they would have
point.
to come via starship to collect, as they did with Teotihuacan.
They would.
And the medieval Christians, at some point, they were taken as well. So we've been visited.
Gene Diatta has a really good point. Snake real dumb not picking the M, and all the knowledge of the Tari didn't get. If only Apophis had realized what he missed out on.
And our solar system doesn't have Naquadah in it. So we're not a prime candidate.
That's true.
Yeah.
So we just offer hosts.
No, I love how excited he is about getting his first host.
It's honestly, it breaks my heart every time I watch this episode. Like, I can't watch Kowalski being such a nice, happy guy. But I'm really glad that even though he's dead, he keeps popping up.
For sure.
Marsha said she thinks nudity was important to the story because it showed how vile Apophis and his kind were.
That's
and his disrespect of humans. I do have some agreement there in terms of
Marsha.
that.
Got to see
Marsha.
Comic-Con. Yes.
Hi, Marsha.
Matthew said, how did he dial back from Earthsgate with no DHD? They had like a device that they slap on the gate.
Stargate dialer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's introduced in Continuum on screen for the first time.
Yeah. Baal has it.
Yep. It's the same type of tech.
I do love that everyone had involvement in the Stargate program except for like Mitchell prior to season 9, but they kept trying to add Mitchell stuff in. And I do love the way that they used Continuum to give him even more history with the Achilles, the ship that took the gate over. I thought that's a really cool thing.
That was a great, in the illustrations for the Stargate feature film, I think it came over on the Queen Mary, if I'm not mistaken. There's a really gorgeous harbor shot that the illustrators designed. I think it was the Queen Mary or the Mary Celeste. I'm not one of those.
You've got some illustrations, haven't you, David?
I do. I does.
That is awesome.
Show them off at some point.
I only have the ones that I crudely do myself.
Apophis has it too. That's how they dial from Russia in the Continuum movie. But Teal'c is working for Baal at the time, isn't he? So yes. I mean, Apophis does have it, but at the time that would have been Baal's one anyway. So, but I'm assuming all the Goa'uld have it.
Yes, they all have that technology.
4 hours is a really tight time frame.
It is. David Druid made a great comment. He's bringing in the humor tonight. I like how Daniel put so much time and effort into translating written languages, etc. But when they go meet them, everybody speaks English. What luck.
I talked with Jonathan Glassner earlier this year, and I said, it would have made sense to me if in the pilot episode we came across a device that the Goa'uld had invented or stolen from someone else that like fit in the palm of the hand or like was subcutaneous that allowed you to translate. And Jonathan said,
like the TARDIS. Farscape had something similar to that.
Right.
They had a drug that you put in their body.
Right.
And it does it.
Jonathan said for the pilot they had considered it and then abandoned the idea. And part of it is because the Goa'uld have no interest in talking with anyone else. They're all
that's a very good point.
Fair point.
They're all any humans are cattle. So
I wish they'd thought of the Asgard sooner, because I'm sure the Asgard would have wanted to create a mutual, I mean, I guess that's what Torment of Tantalus was. It was a mutual place for different people to speak.
Correct.
But sadly it wasn't English.
I heard that they filmed this in February and it was so freaking cold that they had to redo all of Christopher Judge's like initial scenes because he was like freezing and shivering. Well,
I mean, every Stargate season started off in January. They began filming in January. If you note, if you go back and you look at the external shots, it's always winter in Vancouver at the beginning of each season.
You can see the breath.
Oh yeah,
it's so cold.
Yeah. Well, they filmed a lot of shows in Canada and they had the same issues. Like I remember in Smallville, they shot a lake that Stargate has shot at before and they had to pretend it was the beach. So they were all in swimsuits. And I was like, oh, no. Lord, no. God, that woman on the left there. Look, on the right, that woman's completely nude on the right. I just noticed from the waist up.
Oh, yeah, she is.
It showed boobies?
Stand for?
They're just throwing it around. Pardon?
It showed boobies?
Fred.
Yes, I saw full-on breasts.
I can't go back and look.
I don't remember what Fred stands for.
I never noticed that. Fred, the Field Remote Expeditionary Device.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
Summer, Mitchell touching the gate when he first sees it really bonded me to his character. It's all of us. Oh, you're right. That's exactly how we would react, Summer.
I love how Daniel wants to go into like details about
I've got a comment about
device
this.
And
Sam
Jack's just like, I'm not interested.
And then Jack says, sounds about right, Korski, and Korski's like, yeah. And then Sam kind of glares at him and walks away. Like, what is that about? Was that supposed to be a dig at her for, like, being a woman again? Like, what was that? That was always a weird interaction for me.
Akosh wanted to know, how did they move the Stargate into the pyramid if it was outside in the Stargate Origins Catherine film? Slaves drug it into the pyramid.
Yeah, I mean, that's the answer. Oh, here we go, guys. Poor thing.
Yep.
Well,
this moment has adjusted the parameters of the series ever since regarding where it's been broadcast.
My family didn't mind so much because I think because I was a girl,
aren't as hung up on nudity as Americans are.
No,
you're more hung up on violence than we are. We'll shoot people in the head, and we show that to our kids. And
kids are allowed,
God.
I have so many things that I feel like I want and need to say, but I don't know how to articulate them because I just feel frustration for her at the moment.
And also, everyone's really sensitive these days, so you got to be careful too.
Yeah, I don't know what I can
as saying
say.
one thing or not. The human form is beautiful. I will say that.
Yeah, I will agree there. She's an absolutely beautiful woman, but sadly, like her beauty was not needed all over.
And as you're watching this, you presume that the actress is game because the actress is on screen.
Yeah, like
So-
now that I
Yeah.
know the truth, I feel a bit icky watching it.
Yeah,
That's
so
fair.
do I. Agreed.
And now
If they
they've
could-
got
if they could
handlers
remove
for
the
this and
nudity
things like that.
From this exact like episode, I'd be like, this episode's perfect.
I found that she was quite sort of matter of fact about the whole thing. You know, it's just like, yeah, I was upset.
And there's
I felt
a
really
gross
bad.
She took it
for her.
really
Like, she
well.
just figured it was just
thing
it was
happening
just
here
a-
as well.
It's very.
just the
My
industry.
friend said to me, he was like, "That this is way sexual for you to be watching as a kid," and I was like, "Yeah, no."
Imagine
Yeah.
if the gold entered through her nether regions and,
That's what my friend said. He was
Oh, I'd
confused.
never
and
even
worked
thought
its
about
way
that.
through the body up into her head. I mean,
Yeah,
imagine it going that way.
that'd be real nasty.
Yeah.
And that lubrication around the Gould, extra icky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Extra
look, I
icky.
love how the cinematographer shot around the ghoul. Like we see a shot of like its tail, like it's it's moving because it's a puppet. So they have
Yeah.
it's not CG. They can't just flip her over and have the ghoul just follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the only time where we actually see a ghoul with its glowing eyes. So, do you guys remember
No,
the canon
no, that's not
explanation
true.
for why they go in the back of the head?
They don't want to see the look of horror on the face of their victims or whatever.
When they look in the mirror and see
Yeah.
the host, because they remember that.
Yeah. Right. It's
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
a vanity thing as well. If you can't see the sky, you can pretend it's not there. And
Yeah.
you know,
I always found it interesting with Tanith.
they're
the way he
quite
just
vain,
yeeted
so they might not like a
straight
big
into the Tok'ra.
honking scar.
Yeah. Didn't Tanith go in like through the neck or something?
He went straight in through the jugular, like
he
straight
did.
in
He
there.
did.
But also, you see, he has like really bright red eyes when he's coming out of what's her face's
Yeah.
quote unquote womb.
Yeah.
Mm.
So Shonok, that's
Marsupial
it.
pouch.
Pouch.
Shut
Yeah.
up, yeah.
Man, Tanith, I really hated that guy.
Yeah. He was slimy.
I had a lot of hope and faith. I was like, I
Was
really
he
hope
not
this turns
supposed
out
to be in
well.
more episodes?
Well, you mean when he was killed in 48 hours?
Yeah.
Well, they weren't expecting a season 6 at that point. They realized that they had that dangling thread, so they couldn't get him back for X, Y, or Z, or the right story didn't come up at the time, so they inserted him into 48 hours. The shot from him from between two fires on the Tolan at the Tolan desk where
Right.
Travell was, and then they looped
Yes.
that in. So
If it fits the storyline, then I have no problem with nudity. There's Anthony in the chat. Throwing nudity in for the sake of it is unnecessary, though. Yes, Anthony, I
That's a fair
definitely
point.
agree. Yeah.
I sold one of these staffs at Profworks. There was one left. I'm not sure.
Beautiful.
Which it
Oh,
was in one of the
really?
live
That's so
auctions.
cool.
I saved it for one of the live auctions. I can't remember which.
I have a
one.
skull
How
from
much did it
Enemy
go for?
Mine,
Ooh.
so I'm pretty happy. Yeah, how much did it go for, the stuff?
What specifically?
Then how much you sell it for?
This particular staff?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you said stuff. I'm
No,
like,
staff.
what?
Accent problems.
Yeah, sorry.
Staff.
I don't. I'm gonna have to see. It's a priest staff.
Nate, the biggest takeaway from this is that it's very disappointing and horrible that she was not aware that she would be shown in full glory on the screen. Nudity, if
Yeah.
consensual, is totally fine. Agreed, Nate. Yes.
Well, because I think you made this point during the interview, David. They don't have intimacy coordinators back then.
Correct.
No.
I think they have intimacy coordinators on set for everything now. Just a kiss.
They definitely
I think
need
they
them
have.
now, yeah.
They have one on someone on staff.
I think that's why the world is so like there's so much sexual content in shows nowadays. But I think it's at least like now when I watch content, I don't feel awkward because I know that like there's an
The
intimacy
actors are being
coordinator.
looked after.
Yeah.
Yep.
It makes me comfortable when I watch it. Dak Cabrera. Wait, that was reused footage. Tanith's actor didn't even know he was appearing in another episode. Just referring to Tanith's death in 48 hours. Yes, it was reused footage.
Correct.
It was, yeah.
Do you get paid if they reuse your footage?
Yes.
I don't think. Oh, do you do really?
Oh.
It's a
Didn't
sub-
know you did.
well, now there are rules for this. So if we're doing like a previously on at the beginning, whereas
Oh, it
as
doesn't
this,
count.
he would have been in
Okay.
the episode, so he would have had to have negotiated.
Yeah.
Ah. Ins and outs
Matthew
of
Hammond.
Hollywood.
I wonder how Brad Wright and Jonathan Glasner kept the Showtime producers from pushing nudity and language in Stargate.
It was back and
Yeah.
forth.
What happened in the shift? What caused them to do it in the first episode and then keep some of the momentum going in the following episodes and then completely cut it? What
What do you
happened?
the agreement was to put it in the pilot, and then that was it.
Really? Okay. Because I always wondered why it was just in the pilot, because the thing is, you do see a bit of this, more adult content, in Broken Divide and Emancipation, where it's a bit more like, a bit less child friendly, and then it takes this complete shift where it's like, in my opinion anyway, it feels more family friendly, and I always wondered. That's really interesting. I like that.
It's always a sliding scale, and it's just you're having to feel it out.
Yeah.
What's
Well,
acceptable
anyone else,
in one generation compared to another? I mean, some of the things that they say on network television now, the words that they use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Watching Friends nowadays, I'm like, oh dear, some questionable things. Even though it's a great show. It's
Does
like,
does anyone get kind of Temple of Doom vibes from this? Like, are you expecting them to put down like that like ice monkey head or
thing?
whatever it was?
Yeah.
That monkey brains?
that's a
I love Temple
mastage
of
head
Doom.
in the middle there.
People I
That's
speak
what
to
that is.
don't like it, but I'm like, it's great.
Did you notice the mastage head?
Yes.
Yep. And then
What
was
is that?
Oh, wow. Oh,
It's
yeah.
it's from Abydos.
Oh,
Is that big
is.
thing?
Yeah.
Oh my poor
It
thing.
may not be an Abydonian mastage, but it is a mastage.
It was a cute salivary cuddler. It was adorable.
Yeah.
They
I
took
loved it.
elements
It's like a big
from
dog.
the movie and put that in there, and they also used it in Rising
It's very clever.
on the Wraith Keeper's table.
Yeah, because they got
So-
like a whole heap of props and stuff that were used in the film, didn't they?
They were put in as nods and as, hey, this is filler, let's use this.
I like
Why
when they
not?
reuse desks and tables and stuff, meeting tables from Stargate SG-1 and throw them in Atlantis. They did it several times with several different desks, and every time it happened, I was
Can't
always
say
like,
I've looked that closely.
yeah. Well, the ones in the Atlantis meeting room that they have from like season 2 onwards with the lights all around it, they
This
had
is so
that
sad.
in season 6 somewhere.
Shari defending Apophis. Well,
Yeah.
Amunet.
Yes,
Doesn't
that's
give her name
Armanet.
yet.
Oh, speaking of, when Armanet is giving birth, or Shari is giving birth, and Armanet comes back, I really did love the fact that she gave Daniel that one little look, even though Armanet
Oh,
taken
yeah.
over again. That was one of my favorite
She
things.
doesn't give them away when they go through.
No,
There's something
and I
of
always loved
Shari
that.
in there. Or Amunet was just being strategic.
Yeah,
So, who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
I always found that really interesting. SGU has a clothed sex scene in the pilot. It does. Yeah, well, the thing is, SGU was it's a whole different vibe. It has sex scenes a lot throughout the show.
Closed set for the entire pilot? No. Just for the intimate scenes.
No, they're saying clothed scenes with
Oh, I
clothes
see what you're saying.
on.
With clothes.
Yes.
Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, there were several in universe. I remember them distinctly. They were very like, there was one that ended in like murder. I think it was James. She slammed Scott across the head after they just,
Yep.
and I was like, whoa, this took a turn.
Correct.
Good episode.
All right. Jaffa Monk staff sold for $350.
Damn. See, I have that kind of money now.
Auction.
I wish I could go back in time with my adult money.
Well,
With
that
your
doesn't
adult
include
money.
the buyer's premium was probably not there, but yeah, we started off as 100. Buyer's premium was
Wow.
23%, so 350 plus 23% of that, so we're talking $75, something like that. So they plus shipping, they would have paid about $500 for it.
Okay.
Is it true that American stores label all their stuff without VAT and you have to
Correct.
pay the added VAT at the till? That's incredibly
Correct.
stupid.
Yep. Stores
Wow.
marks something 99. I don't know
Wow.
why, but it is. Like, just give us the actual
Gosh.
price.
Yeah, that's gotta be
Yeah.
infuriating when you're working with
very
like not much
deceitful.
money, and then you get to the till, and then you're like, oh, I'm a penny short.
You're constantly having to do math.
Why do you think Teal covered the
I always
symbol?
thought that he was trying to be like, okay, nobody needs to see this. Let's try.
Oh,
and...
okay, but it looks
you
to
know.
us like he's wiping them out.
I never
Well,
thought of it like
I
that.
never
Really,
thought of
that's
it
how I
like
always
that.
thought of it. But
I
then
always
going
assumed
back,
that
it's like
he-
he's trying to cover this up
Yeah.
because he's working on his plan. So
And
now
yes,
he knows
That's
where
how I.
has
That's
an
how I
idea of where they're from.
interpreted it. He is from Virgin River, and I only just realized this when I was rewatching this episode a few days ago.
Nice.
I was
Jay?
like, "There's Preacher from Virgin River."
Who is?
The one on the left, I think.
Oh, the
Yeah, the guy in the bit-
black actor. Okay.
Yes.
Who is the actor? What's the actor's name?
Oh, I honestly can't remember his name. I'll look it up. But he plays Preacher. He's like a main character.
Prototype Freak 45 has asked, will there be a stream for the other episodes? If yes, when? September.
Colin Lawrence?
Colin Lawrence, that's the guy. He's in
alright.
2 episodes, apparently. I looked him up the other day.
Okay.
Yeah, Prototype Freak, we're starting in September properly. And we'll be streaming every week and then taking occasional holidays.
Are they asking us about us?
Yes. Yes.
Yep, occasional holidays. We'll have the website put up at that point so you can schedule in advance.
Jeremy in the chat said, same mess in Canada. You basically play gambling. You have no idea how much it will cost at the till.
Oh, God, we're going to be there. And it's going to be a real struggle.
Do you want it or not? That's basically what it comes down to.
Yeah.
I'll just be handing over fistfuls of cash on my card, not knowing what I'm actually paying.
Yeah. That's how it works.
That's what turned me immediately off SGU. I wasn't expecting it. I eventually moved past it and appreciated it for what it was, but I was disappointed as it wasn't necessarily a family show anymore. Yeah, well, the Universe wasn't a family show anymore. It was a more mature show. But the thing is, Universe could have been as mature as it was and just cut out the sex and been perfectly fine, in my opinion.
Yeah, they were shooting for a more modern aesthetic across the board. TV had evolved, for better or for worse.
Yeah. Like you said, David, it was ahead of its time.
Yep. Dan Shay is in one of these outfits.
Oh, really?
Siler, yep.
Easy Sparky just sang the song Let's Talk About Sex Baby in the chat. Thank you for that.
All right, can we move past that scene now? Okay.
Everyone's talking about it.
So the actor who played Kansu, he's also in this scene here as well. Talk about going undercover as a Toka for a really long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be the same guy, but I prefer it's Zapakna because Zapakna served Apophis and Kansu did not.
Made sense. The outfit change also made sense that Sapakna had the same outfit.
Yep. Well, very similar. He had a headdress.
Yeah, he had the same kind of style outfit.
Yeah. Very kind of
He's totally pulling off that mini
Carmen Miranda hat. Oh yeah.
David Druid says O'Neill should not have said Chicago. He is so Minnesota.
He totally is.
They backsell it in season 5 with the first ones born in Chicago, or not the first ones, the fifth man born in Chicago, raised in Minnesota.
So there's everyone's talking about American taxes on bills now in the chat, and everyone's just laughing about the chat has come down to those two things: source and taxes.
Marcia, we have talked about it before, but they took out the fact that travel through the Stargate was extremely cold because, well, the original explanation from Sam is that your molecules undergo compression, but the going theory later on was that because they had straightened out the stellar drift with our computer dialing system, that they had fixed it. And it comes back in Red Sky when they take a tumble through the Stargate because they broke... They did what they shouldn't have been doing. Right. And they're frozen again there. So because they have fixed the stellar drift, they apparently fixed them. So I guess the molecule compression excuse was retconned.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want to be doing that every week,
Yeah, no.
No.
And if Stargate travel really was as casual and ubiquitous as everyone, expected it to be, the ancients probably would have tooled that out.
Yes, exactly.
Benjamin Herbert said, I'm one of the rare Stargate fans who watched SGU first.
Wow, okay. Yeah, some people found it first. Some people are younger. Here comes Zapakna. I swear that's Zapakna.
The thing,
it certainly looks like him.
I've always thought it was Zapakna. I've always agreed there. Yeah, he is. He's my passionate baby.
That wasn't very good.
And we're asking the questions that confront the series for the first few years here. And Teal'c shaking his head, no, nothing of the host survives. So
it's really weird that they just went, the one above.
Yeah.
It was strange they were doing an analysis of Daniel and then would cut straight to Skara. Right. I always found that a bit jarring.
Yep. Skara was originally going to be a part of the team.
I feel really bad that did not happen because I would have loved to see it.
Alexis had other priorities. He couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But he still wanted to be a part of the show in some way, so they started adding him this way.
Somebody says, one thing I hate about Origins, they claimed seeing with their demolecularized eyes the traveling between the two gates. Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah. I saw stars.
Somebody didn't like that, yeah.
Maybe they perceived
it wasn't
stars,
me saying that. It's Jeremy saying it in the chat.
Yeah.
But that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Headcanon, it's Zapakna. Thank you, Chaos Knight.
Yeah, exactly.
Headcanon.
Oh, there's Caveman.
Yeah, yes. Caveman's going to be real upfront the rest of this episode. I'm going to hype this guy up.
If you listen, if you crank up the audio here, I keep on hearing over and over again. A woman screaming, "We've come to die." Has anyone else?
No,
does anyone else hear that too?
We're going to die. Yeah,
and it's
every
looped
time.
again and again.
Yeah, she says it like 3 times.
Replay the episode. It may not be that's what she's saying, but my ears have always heard that since the first rewatch. And in Final Cut, it's completely removed.
Many have said this.
Do the turn.
Great moment. Oh, yeah.
Every time I see that, I just think about Threshold, where it does the sudden cut through all of Teal'c's seasons on SG-1.
And his guards aren't taking him out. They're just shooting. They're just continuing to execute everybody.
Well, the thing is, I always wondered about that. I was like, it just feels a bit silly. But then at the same time, it's like, well, why would their commanding officer essentially start pew-pewing them? It just feels a bit like...
He would have been the first target to go down. But
yeah, you would have thought.
Yeah. The power of the staff weapon blast was always changing from episode to episode.
Yes, it was.
It couldn't take down tree trunks on swinging ropes, but it would take out huge chunks of wall.
Oh goodness, yeah, the inconsistency of the fast staff weapon is hilarious. Benjamin Herbert.
I wonder if the power of a staff weapon diminishes over time.
And Yvie, sorry, is ace. You think the power of the staff diminishes over time? That'd be interesting.
No, I'm just asking. Do you think if it diminishes over time, does it need to be charged or something?
Actually. Massive gripe here. I don't know if you guys agree with me. Jack goes to Teal'c's staff weapon, pulls that little green thing out of it, and puts it in the thing that dials to.
Yes, it's the liquid naquita. It's at the bottom of the device.
I was just sitting there like.
Hang on, just a second. We got to acknowledge this moment. And hey, Ben from the Companion, how you doing, buddy?
This guy's great.
Terrific moment. And this is one of the reasons that Rick agreed to do the character, because
I was going to say that
you can stay at my place.
Absolutely.
It's like that's the kind of humor
because he wanted it to be humorous.
Yep.
Did Teal'c actually end up staying at his place, or was he always on the base?
No, I don't think so. He had to stay on base.
That's sad.
It was on base for seasons and seasons.
I would have loved to have seen them watching Star Wars for the first time.
He didn't get his own place until like season 7 or season 8 or something. Got his own place.
He finally got his own place.
Yeah.
So they just never had any time. Like Jack promised to show him his world, and and Teal'c had to first get it from a television set. It's some of the greatest moments of the show.
So I'm going back to my gripe with the staff weapon. That thing is not powerful enough to send us to another galaxy. I don't care how much liquid naquita you put in that staff weapon; it ain't enough. And
it wasn't meant to. It wasn't meant to be exactly like a ZPM. The device isn't a ZPM per se. That Jack built.
But still, it feels a bit.
Using along with other things, it created a one-off use for a jump to another galaxy. So,
Jeremy, I always reasoned it as being unthinkable for the other Jafar that you would have a traitor. Teal'c is basically one of the first Sholvar. Yeah,
it basically wasn't done, as evidenced by the X-301 being reprogrammed with the Death Gliders. It's like,
the homing thing.
What Teal'c did was unheard of.
RF engineer said batteries sold separately and staff weapons.
You notice that when they're running with them, the ends of the staff weapon are bowing, so because they hadn't put like a steel rod through them yet. They were trying to figure out how to do these things.
Oh yeah.
And this, one of my favorite changes for Final Cut is
they're fixing of this.
Yeah, this craft was never seen again.
This made no sense to me. Yeah. Like it's basically a death glider, but
it is a death glider
because it's just slightly bigger and can fit the rings. It just makes no sense.
And it suggests that they're demolecularized inside of the rings right now.
Yeah,
and then they come down and then
it didn't sit well.
Right. Well, they didn't. They just didn't have it designed yet. So
yeah. Well, when you watch the rest of the show and then you go back and see that, and there's no final cut that fixes it, you're like, it just sits funny.
Stock shot from the movie.
It is, yeah. Which I always found really weird because the bottom of it's not that big.
Doesn't shape, doesn't look like it at all. All the Goa'uld.
Oh,
because you're like not quite sure if he's been taken over just yet.
Alexis is very pretty. No wonder they chose him. Look at his young, beautiful face. He was an absolute, young.
I saw him on Touch by an Angel first.
Oh man,
I think we got that in Australia. I think I watched a little bit, but not enough to remember a specific character.
That's still a cool shot of it transforming. That was really
It
cool.
is.
So
I love this music. I think this is SG-1 versus the aliens. I get really excited.
correct.
Gets
And
the
stock
blood
shots from
pumping.
There's the caveman.
film.
Keep
Yep.
running, my dude. Yo. Oh, Canada. I like to say that. I try to say it with like the Deadpool kind of finesse that Ryan Reynolds adds to it now, because he's just Canada's just a great butt of jokes for its filming.
Oh, yeah,
like
shooting
everyone's
it down
there
together.
And it all looks the same. Yeah, they're broing out. They've got it.
One of the cool things that the Final Cut does is adds a separate glider, and one
The
of them
Kowalski.
it gives O'Neill and Teal'c a chance to hit one and have one fly
Yeah.
off. Like, okay, we did get one.
Oh, she trips it. There, she just tripped.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice that.
I noticed it years ago, and I love the fact that he like holds her and stops her from falling over. Like, what a nice guy.
It's like, okay, you're just getting used to this body and this clothing. So
Yeah. I like that they had time to like spruce her out and give everyone else nice outfits, and Skara still is in his Abaddoni and stuff.
Well, they're going home, quote unquote. whatever
Yeah,
that means.
he's gonna get his nice new outfit
So,
later.
Yeah.
I do really love just seeing, like, I think SG-1, they have such good chemistry together.
Great
I love
Boom.
it is.
That is amazing.
I just love the way that they all interact with each other, and I think the actors all just work
Opening
so
credits.
well.
Yep.
That is one of the fun shots in the opening credits. Yep.
Sure is. Yay, we're free.
Okay. Also, there's a blonde boy, right? Who's in this crowd of people that's just been saved. You'll see him again at the end. That
The
kid
one
is
that the
exact
big
same-
guy was holding?
Yeah, that's the exact same kid that's in Thor's hammer, who's wearing like almost the exact same outfit.
Are
and
you
he gets
positive?
wrist broken. I'm 100%. And he
Oh.
looks like Macaulay Culkin, and
Macaulay.
his. That's how you say
Macaulay.
it?
Oh,
I don't know how to
bless you.
say it.
It's Macaulay.
Is it? I've never seen Home
Mebius.
Alone, by the way. I've never seen it.
Oh.
Mebius and Macaulay.
Hey, Mebius was not my fault. I used to say Mobius. Evie also had the same thing. But no, he has his broken wrist, and Kendra heals
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
when we see Thor's hammer,
That's
I'm gonna
true,
be like,
yeah.
that's-
You know, you're
was it
right. I
Macaulay?
think that might be the same kid.
yeah,
It's definitely not
honestly-
Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, no, of course
No,
not.
it's not. It
Macaulay
just looks
Culkin
like
was too
him.
big for
I
that.
I
see
call
what
him
you're
like
saying.
the Macaulay Culkin lookalike.
Got it.
So
It's one of the coolest locations in the show, just with the rocks and everything.
I remember watching some behind the scenes with Christopher Judge and Michael Shanks, where they were driving up to film some scenes for season 7, and they were like, "Oh, didn't we use this place for Children of the Gods?"
Yeah,
and they were like reminiscing.
it's a rock pit. It's a quarry. I believe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
quarry.
love
Oh,
to
that
know
makes
where
sense.
this spot is, because I would.
Yeah, I
want
want to go
to
stand in it,
So, but it probably
I wanna
looks
go dig a
nothing like
hole.
that now.
stuff a ladder in it,
Oh my
and just
gosh.
re-experience death
Oh,
now,
that's
where like the
mild.
gate is pointed
Gould.
down.
It's over.
Yeah.
And he's got a hand device.
I
What
just
a
like that he
great
just
reveal.
slowly does it, and he just walks off. You know, in the final cut, they cut the Kowalski moment where you find out he's a
With the
Gould.
eyes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not
totally,
necessary.
Yeah, they totally do. 'Cause
They even
wanted
cut
to
it
end it
jumping
on a
in.
more positive note, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
some fans
understand why
argued
they
like
cut
it
it.
doesn't happen. Then I'm like, no, it does. They just don't show it. So it makes it more dangerous because these things could be happening all the time. And you'd never know it. If a Jaffa goes down
Yeah.
and you're not paying attention to the ground, you better look out.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember just how scared I was for characters early on. Whenever they had a Gould in them, I was like, "Oh no!"
well,
It's the
because
end
we
of-
know
it's the
that
end of it.
that's it. You know, you can't get
Yeah.
one out without killing the host.
When the Tok'ra, when
That's
Joel and I
it.
went and Sam, I remember just being like, "Damn."
Yep, exactly.
Yes.
We've lost Sam.
Yeah, David, I'm talking about the kid. Oh, he said, David Drunas just said, I thought he was just agreeing with me, but he just said a home world alone.
That's funny.
Top tier comedy there, my dude. Top tier. Was he called him Michaeli, according to me screwing it up because I don't know how to pronounce
So
his
the
name.
battle is not over. We've got hostiles coming in. I just noticed the SG-2 patch is a real.
Yes.
So what happened with the patches after the pilot episode is that every patch was an SG-1 patch with the numbers of whatever the team was supposed to be hot glued on top of it, cut out and hot glued on top.
Oh wow!
And
Wow.
if you're looking closely in some of the shots later on in the show, you can see that, but you have to be looking really close.
Like it looks a little bit raised.
Correct, because
That is
it's
wild.
actually the numbers are actually placed on an SG-1 patch. So
Wow.
See, it looks kind of sunny, and then it gets quite dark. I find these shots, the inconsistency with the lighting bothers me a little bit.
That's what you get when you go outside.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the same.
Creature.
This is why they always shoot outside locations with inside shots after that, so they can match the light.
Yeah,
For the
because it's
interiors?
really sunny right now, but then when you cut to Sam
Correct.
and Daniel every time, it's so... I mean, the gate's going to open in a minute, it's going to get chilly anyway, and the
Yeah.
lighting's
And
going
now
to
it's
change.
dark.
But...
Yeah, you
It's a little
gotta
bit
buy
darker
it,
in
you
the
know?
Yeah.
pit.
Man, the Jaffa that they just went through in this thing. Holy crap! They cut them down like butter, and in the
Yeah.
feature film,
Like butter.
They all butter.
they're just they're not
Butter.
Jaffa in the feature film, but man, they're stronger.
You think they'll revisit the pilot again in the new series like Mobius? Dak Cabrera has asked. You know, I don't know, but I'd love that.
Revisit
That'd
the
be
pilot
nice.
again.
Yeah.
New series. Revisit the pilot.
Like Mobius kind of went back and did it.
Oh. I mean,
Okay. Like yeah, okay.
Like an alternate
I know
kind
what
of
you mean.
version of it. You know, I wouldn't mind. I think it really interesting. I think it would be fun if
Like
they
a
did-
flashback kind of.
Yeah, I don't
I
know.
suppose. My issue with Mobius and Continuum is that the same parameters occurred. Ra took the gate with him. And
Yeah.
so when the gate is removed, Continuum circumstances should have reset to the Mobius situation.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, it's the Continuum situation. So because in both cases, the Stargate was removed from history. So that's my rant.
That's very interesting.
Hey, Gary. That iris, though.
Daniel doing the start equivalent of looking for your car keys in a hurry. That's what he was doing. That tickled my insides.
It did. It's funny. They had 3 or 4 different vendors produced puddle shots for the pilot.
Wow.
So
Ooh,
they're all a little different.
I have a comment about this in a moment. Sam goes through, right? And it's another timing issue where they send the people through and the guys get their big guns out before the refugees have come.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always tried to find some excuse. Oh, they're aiming at Sam because they don't know if she's safe or not. But they don't aim immediately. If not, I would have said, yes, that's okay. See, they aim and then she does the...
Right,
they
they don't
haven't
know
even come
what's
through
going
yet.
on.
Yeah.
Don't shoot,
So-
don't shoot.
I always tried to be like, you know what? They could be imposters and they're just going to shoot anything that comes through, almost.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta be ready.
Yeah. So I've always tried to be like, it's okay. It's okay.
I don't
It's okay.
think they were necessarily shooting at her because she's coming in hot. They can see that. They weren't necessarily aiming at her.
Yeah. See, there we go. That's a good reasoning. See, I'll go with that now. Of they're coming in hot, so of course they're going to get their guns ready. Because she just came flying through.
What a cool sequence.
Why did they leave Daniel behind to do this when he's like not the military one?
I don't know if they were really thinking that far ahead. I think
Yeah.
Daniel just kind of took
Yeah.
that up because he was the only one that wasn't armed. So
Yeah.
he's just trying to get everyone through.
Maybe in case the gate shuts down, they have Daniel so that he can redial.
Oh, possibly.
I mean, that's not it. The caveman's right there.
There he is. That gate, it always knows if people still need to go through or not. It's always conscious.
Yeah. There's that white. There he is. With the little white kid with
Okay.
the blonde hair.
Okay. That could definitely be.
I think you might be right. I literally just watched that episode like 2 days ago.
There's
Yeah.
an older lady, like 50s, with shoulder length silver hair. She pops up throughout the show. She's a Sodan, and later on she's on Destiny. I don't know who this woman was, but I mean I'm gonna call her out every time I see her when we do these.
They
There's just
like to
certain guest
use
stars
a
that you
lot
just-
of people.
Yeah, they're
and
just
you
background
just
actors.
know.
There seems to
Yeah.
be a limited pool of actors in Vancouver.
This is
Yeah.
true. This is why
There's only
whenever
so
I
many.
watch
The town is
Canadian-
huge now, but back then, right through the symbiote pouch. What a shot!
Whoa.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like WWE.
I thought I crinked my neck.
Oh,
Yeah, that's more than a
oh
creep,
I
right?
hate that scene. Oh, he's just like, just the
Yep.
emotion that he puts into delivering that line.
Yep. Don't shoot, Tilk. Stand down.
My bro. I love that Jack calls him Teal in There But For the Grace of Gods. He's like, Teal? It's like, no, Teal.
No, Teal'c. Everything's screwed up. Why? Oh, man, look at all those guys.
Hugs on a windscreen. Let's go, guys. You're about to get splattered.
Splat, splat, splat.
Bunch of big splats.
Yeah. Close the iris.
Lock
it up. I just remember she screams, lock it up. I don't know why, but whenever SG-1 is being dramatic and screaming at things, I get excited.
Just once, I would have loved to have seen the iris cut someone in half.
I mean, it cut not the iris, yeah. We don't see the iris
like
cut
the
anyone.
top, no, it never does. I would have loved to have seen the iris, someone coming straight through the center, and it just snip them off.
I'm not gonna lie, right?
How sharp would it be?
Brilliant.
I don't know.
Sharp enough.
I mean, sharp enough, I would suspect.
I mean, it'd be blunt, but yeah, it'd be very strong.
Because they would get stuck by it, and then it would close in around them.
Yeah.
Ooh. Awkward.
Yeah, just picture that.
So Rebecca Farley said, I'm wondering if my DVD version isn't as original as I thought. I just finished. Are you watching the UK PAL version?
Yeah, you have to be. Yeah, the
because the PAL
NTSC
one
is an
goes
hour,
faster.
37 minutes. That's why I always want to suggest that. So.
Are any of the future episodes going to have different edits, though?
No.
Just threads.
Threads,
there are,
okay.
if you watch the Netflix or Amazon versions of some episodes, for example, The Lost City, the Netflix version of The Lost City, they cut the line where Jack calls Sam a national treasure. And so when I was watching it, I lifted up my laptop ready to slam it across the room, and I was like, where's my DVD?
We're always going to post the hours and minutes, well, at this point, the minutes and seconds of each cut, including the MGM logos and credits, so that you can get the right episode queued before you watch it. So we will be publishing those early in advance.
Leanne Adachi is her name, who played Barnes on SGU. You're saying Corporal Barnes is in other episodes of Stargate? Akosh?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
I did not know Corporal Barnes made other appearances.
Well, it's again, you already made the point, Vancouver's a limited pool of actors, so
yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I only remember Corporal Barnes as a character because she and Eli have that baby in the other timeline. And it was always me and Corporal Barnes.
Leanne Adaki, who also played a rebel aide in SG-1's Icon. Leah, the replicator in Ghost in the Machine.
Look, the band
she was, yeah.
She's a replicator.
Oh, okay. Seeing them standing in front of the gate and then walking.
Great shot. Great shot. That's the shot that I used.
Iconic. And then
great ending.
They just all happened to be standing there.
And my poor baby.
Kowalski down the.
And this was one of the reasons why I immediately jumped to watching, to tuning in the following week, because I wanted to see how this was going to be resolved.
And people are thanking us for the timer. Yeah, the thing is, it's really important if you're not already a fan to have this moment, because it goes, the final cut's more for fans that I think are already, either kids already been there, so.
No, I think that last scene was really important. I don't understand.
Rebecca said it is indeed the UK version.
They should be cutting that.
Yeah, Rebecca, it is the UK version. It's incredibly frustrating that PAL stuff is a little bit faster. Yeah. So you do lose valuable, precious minutes.
Yeah, just and with us, you're not going to be watching it at the same time, so it's going to be like, what are they talking about?
It's a bit of a desync.
Because we're expecting you to be caught up with it. That's why I'm always going to publish the minutes and the seconds for every follow-up episode. So that's Children of the Gods. Well done, everyone.
That's a great episode. I tied my hair up at some point during this.
We're gonna cut back to you guys on the screen just a second here, but we're gonna roll with the credits until we do that. So what? So who had Gate rolled up?
Yvie. I did somewhere.
Okay. And what was the original publishing date of that? I mean, obviously in the future we'll know, but July 27th, 1997 was it?
Oh, let me check. It was original air date was the 27th of the 7th, 97.
Wow. All righty.
I wasn't born.
Gang. All right, we're back.
Older than me. Hello.
Hello.
Follow here. I look like crap.
I had my hair tied up at some point because I got sweaty.
So we got about 15 minutes to play with. I want to let everyone go a couple of minutes early before the top of the hour for
so
Brad
we can all companion
and
it
Richard
up.
Dean Anderson on the companion.
Go to the bathroom, get your drinks.
Absolutely. What are your takeaways for this episode?
I will forever love it. It's like I think it's a good way to start the show, and it's such a fun adventure.
Yep.
And I love the way that Atlantis mimics the Children of the Gods with its episode and the same kind of setup.
Structurally,
it's a beautiful echo.
Don't break what doesn't need fixing.
Yeah, Children of the Gods is fantastic for the setup. Obviously, the execution was more difficult because of the time, and the limits and constraints for for 1997 and filming outside with all those people. There are a couple issues here and there, but overall, I think it's pretty solid. Except for the nudity, I'm always gonna have a gripe with that. But I think everything around that is pretty damn spot on as you're gonna get, in my opinion.
Yvie?
So, my takeaway.
Happy 25th behind you.
Yes.
25. I think it is a fantastic introduction into the series, and I think that it does lay down some of the very important Stargate lore, and gives us a snapshot into some of these become very iconic characters. Overall, I think it's a brilliant watch. I kind of wish there was more really lengthy episodes like that, because
my favorite ones are the lengthy
Stargate
ones.
is the best. Yeah.
Every time there's a 3-parter, I'm like, it's a movie.
It is a movie.
Or a 2-parter.
It is a movie.
Reckoning parts 1 and 2 that leads on to Threads. So I love watching it as like a big 3-parter.
That's an extra long.
Yes.
That's like Lord of the Rings length.
Yeah, and then Lost City. If you follow Lost City up with Atlantis immediately, it's like already
very tasty.
The
Very
beginning
tasty.
New Order from SG-1, because you see Weir get to make a shift over to Atlantis, but it's like, it's nice.
Stargate's always been good about that. I mean, you can look at There Before the Grace of God, Politics, Serpent's Grasp, and Serpent's Lair.
That's
they
like a
all
4 or
serve as
5-parter.
They Brad's agent always called it a hybrid kind of show, because they do both serialized and episodic shows.
Yeah.
And they did a sufficient mix of them throughout the show. If there is another Stargate, I really hope that they continue that not everything has to be 100% serialized. But Children of the Gods set a tone.
What did you think, David, of this
film.
episode compared to your baby Final Cut?
Final Cut's not my baby. It's Brad's baby.
Well, I feel like you talk about it like it is. So
I appreciate Final Cut for what it adds.
Yeah.
I appreciate Children of the Gods for what it represents, which is the kickoff, the Showtime broadcast version, the kickoff for what we have been blessed with, which is 360 some odd episodes of television. Without the success of that pilot and everything that's in it, warts and all, we wouldn't necessarily have had what came after. And that's why, it was such a privilege to sit down with you guys today and discuss it. Well. It has great performances.
It does.
The cast, if you really look at it, don't take that long to find themselves through the next few episodes. By episode 7 or 8, they're really into it. And you can't say that for a lot of shows. I mean, look at Next Generation, which is hailed as one of the greatest television series in all of science fiction. They arguably take two seasons to really find themselves. 2.5, depending on who you talk to. And that just doesn't happen with Stargate. And it really came down to the fact that the cast, they knew who they were and what they were doing.
Yeah, it was
the production
chemistry.
team, which was brought over from MacGyver, was already a well-oiled machine. It's the same group of people. In John Smith, and Jan Newman, all those folks. It's the same production group, largely.
I love the fact that they are able to carry the same level of like professionalism and chemistry and acting all the way from like the beginning till the end. Like Stargate, I've always loved and appreciated how consistently on point all the characters are. And even the episodes where they're feeling a bit off, it's either part of a plot or character changes. It's like you already know from the get-go how the characters are. So when they're acting up, you're like, something's up. This is weird, And I think that they're just so well oiled by the end of the first episode. Like they're already feeling iconic for me right at the end. Like they've already got it. They've already settled it. It's like, nice. You took 1 hour 37 to go from barely knowing each other to best friends.
And pulling off of a lot of the weight of the feature film. The feature film takes a lot of the explanation and takes care of it to a certain extent about setting up this universe that they didn't have to do or had to minimally retouch on in the pilot.
Yeah.
Favorite moments from the pilot? My favorite scene always will be Daniel and Jack at this fireplace in Jack's house, and Jack saying the line. We didn't acknowledge it during the commentary that I'll never forgive myself for he killed his son.
Yeah, I was having shower thoughts the other day where I was just thinking about like moments in my life, and I sat there and I was like, this is a really important moment. And I was redoing in my head that he says how he can never forgive himself, but sometimes he can forget, while his wife's the opposite. While she can forgive him, but she'll never forget. And I'm just like, damn.
That's some powerful
writing.
Yeah,
it is.
It was fantastic writing.
You guys?
Agreed.
Favorite scenes?
Yvie?
Favorite moments?
I'm thinking still.
Oh, you know what? I was actually going to say the boardroom scene when Sam is introduced. Genitalia aside.
So
genitalia
good.
aside.
Genitalia
I love
genitalia inside.
Behind the...
That's great.
Oh my God. Well said. Burn. I think just the chemistry between those two is just like on fire. I just really appreciate the dialogue, and it just sort of sets Sam up as being she's got a bit of an edge. She's not going to take any crap from those boys.
No, she's not. She's always going to punch back.
And I love how she comes back and says, well, I flew, was it 100 hours?
In the Iraq War, she logged.
Yeah. And they're just like,
the Gulf
flabbergasted. There's no coming back from that.
I mean, I would say the same, but the thing is, I think for me personally, even though it's their second time meeting, I really just love the arrival on Abydos, because it's like it's no longer James Spader and Kurt Russell's show. It's now gone to like Michael Shanks and Richie Nansen to pull off the chemistry. Like even with the tissue thing, that was already like their chemistry was already pretty solidly set up, but then seeing them meet and then have Sam, and then obviously just Teal'c then later on coming and being like, you're the first I believe could do it, and throws the thing. But
exactly
I
right.
think I think that just the moments where SG-1 are coming together are my favorites, but Teal'c's is like the solid perfect moment, because it's like that's the turning point.
Well, he has such minimal dialogue, but you just he's
have to
so
feel
emotional.
When Teal'c cries,
to feel for him, just his face,
cry.
Like, he's just able to convey
that's
so
my
much
rule.
through his face.
When Daniel dies in season 5, I love when him and Sam are talking about it, and Sam's like, well,
I don't care. I'd rather have him back, as would I.
Yeah,
and
then Teal'c,
the original take of that, they were bawling, and the director was like, this is great, but it's too emotional. They couldn't get through the scene, and they had to do it again.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was tough on all of them. There was a lot happening at that time too.
I can't watch Unending with having that either, because they're all crying in Unending.
The last word of this episode. What is the episode saying? The Children of the Gods pilot. For me, and it's something that one of my friends said about Stargate as a whole, is that as far as I'm concerned, the episode says that anyone can be redeemed. Because Teal'c begins that journey of redemption. Any other circumstances, he would have been thrown in lockup and charged like Nuremberg style.
That's true. And even Jack feels like he's trying to redeem himself as well for the death of his son that he thinks he's responsible for.
Yeah.
There are so many things in Stargate episodes that they're always trying to tell. I think I mean, that is like I'd say that this episode is essentially just a really big Teal'c episode for his development, because he has the turning point that does all the change for the show.
Yeah.
It's his episode. Teal'c
it really
is Children
is.
of the Gods, so much as Shepard's is rising and Eli's is air. Those are the principles. Even though we don't necessarily spend all the time on them, those are the ones that dig in the deepest for each of these pilots.
It's like you fight for what is right, and Teal'c, like no matter what, he was like, I'm going to stand up for the little guy. He
was beginning to. He hadn't before, but strategically, he knew that he had to wait for the right time. And in the flashbacks in
Threshold,
Braytak's like, the best you can do is pray that they're not taken as hosts. Yeah. And Teal'c's like, I got another thing coming, and he has this smile across his face.
Master plan.
Yvie, what do you think?
My big takeaway.
What's the last word from the episode?
What's the last word that the show's giving us?
What's
the last word the show's giving us in terms of, what is it trying to say? What is its message?
How does it speak to you?
Yeah, my main takeaway would be...
Keep an eye on your loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Watch out for your necks.
Yeah. MacGyver mullets may save you.
Yeah,
That's true.
I want that on a shirt.
What, like the mullet as like a shield?
Yeah, that's what some guy said in the chat earlier. I don't know who it
That's
was.
amazing.
I'll come back and say it later, but thank you, person.
Well, I think my main takeaway would be sort of similar to David's, that it doesn't matter how horrible your past is, you can always, redeem yourself.
You can always try.
You can always try and redeem yourself.
I think that's the important thing, is trying.
Like, your future isn't determined by your past.
No.
That's cool.
And I think that's a big takeaway for.
And we're not watching the Arc of Truth right now, but I love the way the Arc of Truth circles around to making it a Teal'c thing again.
My favorite scene from the Arc of Truth is
with Tommen.
With Tommen and Teal'c.
Yeah,
it's one of the few tracks from Joel Goldsmith's collection that do not make it onto the CD, and it pissed me off, man, because it's my favorite moment, and it's one of the most subtle pieces of music. That drives it really home.
The subtle
and it's not
stuff
on the
really
soundtrack.
hits me. No, I had that same gripe. I hate when they do that. It's I pay good money to have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a beautiful moment. I think Teal'c is like the heart. People always say Daniel's the heart of SG-1, but I feel like Teal'c's like the silent heart of SG-1.
You could make that argument for sure.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them, and they all so successfully take up one of those quadrants. That when you bring them together, it's like nothing. The original team is the best team as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah,
they had the magic.
Agreed.
As far as I'm concerned, with all the other shows had like characters that carried it. Like for me,
they're great. But there's
I love
something
everybody.
about SG-1.
SG-1, they're all perfect, and they all had
really
good
a team in Atlanta,
roundabout.
so to speak, was there?
Yeah.
Yep.
There wasn't really like a consistent team.
McKay was my only favorite character in Atlantis, simply because of the fact that he carried that show, but they kept giving him stuff. SG-1 was well-rounded, balanced out, and they gave everybody their moments balanced, and I think that it's just really beautiful.
Guys, this has been a terrific opening to what we are going to be continuing to do week to week, starting in the fall, late September, early October. We're going to be in Gatecon. We're going to be shooting some stuff there, both Dial the Gate and Wormhole Extremists. So we'll be seeing you there. If you can join us, again, go to gatecon.com and check out the daily passes. And also, they're streaming. They're offering streaming access tickets. So if you can't go physically to Vancouver, go to gatecon.com and see what they have to offer you if you want to be getting in on their streaming package to watch from home. This is really cool. Richard told me they were in development for this, and I was like, I can't wait to announce that, because not everyone can get to join, but there will be some stuff for streaming. The Dial the Gate content that we're producing for my show will be 100% for free. You can watch those episodes for free. Dial the Gate will always be free. And over here at Wormhole Extremists, we're just trucking along. The companion is going to be joined by Richard Dean Anderson and Brad Wright in just the next few minutes over here. I hope we get some kind of a shout out on air with them.
Be nice.
Yeah. So come back over here afterwards. And if for those who are over there waiting, who haven't seen our episode yet, guys, this has been terrific. Thanks so much to everyone in the audience.
I had a good chuckle.
Tuned in. And my moderating team from Dial the Gate, who's here, Jenny and Linda Gategaber Fury. It's been great, guys. You enjoyed the show?
Thank you for joining us, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
I had a load of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I've got to wish my mother a shout out as well. My mother is watching, so.
Hi, Mrs. Reed.
Oh my gosh. All right,
Blow
gang.
your kiss.
Let's switch over to the companion YouTube channel and hang out with Brad and Rick. And we'll see you this fall on the other side. Bye, guys.
See you on the other side, guys.
Bye.
Bye.